Hey guys, welcome to the channel. This is part 3 of What If Hinata was a Yandere. If you guys enjoy this what if, then comment, like and subscribe. Let's go. Also the video goal is 10 likes, so let me know that you're interested in the series and you want the next part. Then go ahead and check out the other what ifs in the channel. Before we start, please do support for more awesome content. Don't forget to subscribe and leave. Also share the video with your friends and link in the description. So let's go. Naruto and Jiraiya Naka River. He knows more than I thought. Jiraiya muses as they walk along the riverbank. That must be from Hinata and Sasuke's influence in practicing ninjutsu with him. Wind release, dust devil wave. A gale picks up through the forest, drawing up dirt and grass. The wind starts to whistle, trees and bushes uprooted, spiraling for him. Jiraiya elongates his hair, pushes the projectiles out of the way. Nice one, kid. Didn't expect this counter. His shadow clones take to the trees behind him before he can unleash another toad oil bullet, first 3 drawing in a breath in unison. Water release, raging current. Microburst slice at his legs, attempting to push him forward to the twister or just make him lose his footing. He turns to grin back at the trio, points to above. Too late do the clones see a toppling branch rushing straight for them. An earlier projectile Jiraiya just moved out of sight to use it ready. He hops with ease, getting behind the original Naruto, flicks the back of his head, making his remaining clones pop. Can't forget what your opponent might do with any weapon or object you throw at them, Naruto. The girl from Suna who uses wind and fans would have simply blown back all your clones, and the Nara clan member could have paralyzed you in place while you were so distracted by trying to knock me down. Naruto catches his breath, looks around at the surrounding damage. Blackened earth and twisted bark slide across the terrain. He huffs before grinning some as he accepts Jiraiya's hand in getting up. Well, can't say I don't get some results done, you know. Warm yellow rays sprinkle and melt at the morning dew now, night receding back as violet and pink streaks brush at the horizon. His muscles burn from their pre-dawn sparring, day already looking like it will go on until sunset once again. How is he not feeling the least bit tired? We only took a 2-hour break for a quick nap and breakfast. Naruto tries to hide his frown at Jiraiya's bemused grin. Mud and sweat cling to his pants and jacket, Jiraiya gesturing for them to stop. Alright, I see you got the basics down good enough. We need to start practicing with the summoning jutsu today. Now, even though summoning jutsu expends a lot of chakra, it's a good way to potentially instantly knock out your opponent depending on the size of your summon. I'm sure, knowing you, Naruto, that you can also find a variety of ways to slow down or force your opponent to give up if you can master this. Naruto blinks, follows him as he moves in a crisscross pattern to the other side of the river by some rocks. He stops in place, gestures to the thin cut on his thumb from yesterday. Signing the contract was the first step. You've shown your interest now by using your blood to sign and fingerprint your name in the toad scroll. Now the harder part is getting a toad to agree to be your personal summon. Naruto nods along, shifts from foot to foot eagerly. I'm ready. Jiraiya chuckles at his enthusiasm. Ever since I got that seal off that Orochimaru put on him, he's been more in tune with his chakra control. Hopefully this comes easy enough to him too. Remember that this requires a good amount of chakra concentration, kid. More than just simple tree climbing and water walking. You must focus on calling a toad forth from Mount Myoboku. He observes as Naruto nicks his thumb once again, slams his palm down. Summoning. The puff of smoke recedes, revealing a tadpole. Jiraiya rolls his eyes while Naruto flusters in shock, steps back. That wasn't on purpose. Again. And you can't leave that spot until you get it right. Jiraiya cuts him off. Naruto grits his teeth. Fine, I will get this down, you know. Jiraiya simply nods along as another tadpole is summoned, crosses his arms at a sudden thought. So, how long have you and Hinata been dating? Heat splashes at Naruto's cheeks, focus shattered once again as his stare switches between him and the tadpoles flopping about. Why do you ask? And I guess a few months now. Why? Because I want to know when this change in her started. Jiraiya muses. Last year at this time, Hinata was a shy wallflower from reading her records. People knew her for her stuttering and often avoiding the gaze of both children her age and adults. If anything, she liked blending into the background, showed no remarkable behaviors or skills at the academy or at home that could have triggered this change. But now, I'm feeling romantic. Wanna know you two's love story for my next great novel. Jiraiya beams. Naruto's expression flattens, knows he's laying it on a bit too thick his curiosity. I got in trouble again for a prank and Iruka-sensei came to me and forced me to clean up all the graffiti. Hinata came up to me in the middle of it and wanted to help. Hey, I thought she was just messing with me too until she wanted to come back to my apartment. Oh, then she even kissed me to prove she was telling the truth, and we've gone on to have a few sleepovers since then, you know. Naruto smiles at the memories and Jiraiya leans forward, smirk stretching practically from ear to ear. Wait, no way kid. Have you two had? Naruto's features morph into confusion, tilts his head at his giddiness not finishing his thought. Had what? Tea. Ramen together. Playing cards. Jiraiya rocks back on his toes at his innocent inquiries, clears his throat. He's still very much a child. No, never mind. You two aren't old enough yet. Another time. A woman's giggle further down river stops Naruto from pressuring him for answers on what he really means, Jiraiya following the light snickers. You stay here and keep practicing kid. I'm going to go, investigate if those ladies are in trouble of drowning. Naruto's gaze digs holes in his back as Jiraiya stands up, sliver of crimson mixing with blue from the corner of his eye. Hinata's right, you're just an ordinary pervert alright. Jiraiya shrugs. Insulting me won't get you anywhere. Keep it. He pauses before leaving it, seeing a tiny clip in the inner part of Naruto's jacket, a device that wasn't there yesterday. Hinata's work. Well, he'll deal with that some other time. It's a group of women enjoying a dip at the river to his luck, catching the tail end of their conversation. We should go to the hot springs next. It's discounted for the rest of this month and until the end of the Chunin exam finals to promote tourism from the other nations. A brunette suggests. The blonde beside her twists up her hair into a bun. Good idea Yukiko. I've been sore as hell, and my nose hasn't stopped running since I took that assignment to Kusagaker. Maybe the hot water will open up my sinuses and finally clear up this head cold I've had for days. The dark-haired beauty in front of them raises a hand. I'll send a messenger bird out to Natsuki that we're heading her way then. And me too. Jiraiya adds mentally. He glances over his shoulder to see Naruto is still at it, nods too. Himself he'll be gone just an hour or two at most. The hot springs on the woman's side is crowded, steam rising up. It smells of jasmine, lilacs, and pine. Perfumes must be getting promotions too to his luck. Jiraiya finds a corner by the fence well worn enough for him to poke a hole in. Well, can't see anything or get any ideas with all this damn fog. He climbs up once checking the fence is sturdy enough for his weight. Silver hair glistens in the sunlight, the opposite of all the redheads, dark locks, blondes, and brunettes he saw by the river earlier. Hold on, where are the women from earlier? Skin and breasts sag all around them, one lady instantly pointing him out. He recalls seeing her around Marketplace in his youth when she was probably middle-aged, Mrs. Fujita. Why, isn't that little Jiraiya? Hey ladies, look at how much of a looker he's become. No need to be shy Jiraiya. Stop trying to take a peek at us and just hop in. Fujita waves. She gives him a full frontal view of her aged anatomy as she stands with a wink and little jiggle of her body. Every scar, wrinkle, mole, and hair. Jiraiya twists his head before the sight becomes stuck in his mind. No need. Apologies on interrupting. He chokes out, hops down before he even finishes speaking. He hears giggles on his left before a flash of white, turns to see Hinata's bodyguard splitting out payments of Ryo to the girls from earlier. Natsuki sends him a tiny wave as she waves up the photo just taken of him before snickering loudly into Yukiko's shoulder. Yukiko wraps an arm around her to steady them both from collapsing into a fit of giggles. His eyes meet Ko's, pearl to onyx before he hurriedly gazes away, bows his goodbyes to the ladies. Jiraiya watches him go, clicks his tongue. This isn't over girly. Jiraiya and Hinata Hyuga compound. Hinata is layered in sweat when she approaches the main gate, wipes away droplets from her forehead and cheeks. Blades of grass stick to her hair she flicks away, nods her thanks to Hiroto who brought her over. Master Jiraiya. What a surprise. What brings you by the afternoon? Shouldn't you be watching over Naruto's training? An edge of annoyance creeps into her voice towards the end, keeps her voice light and airy for the guards carefully watching Jiraiya should they need to intervene. Hinata follows his gaze, waves them away to please give them some privacy. Jiraiya arches a brow, holds up a juice carton and katsu sando. Katsu sandwich. Figured you'd might want some lunch if you haven't eaten already. Hinata blinks, warily accepts the food. You didn't poison it, did you? Jiraiya snorts. You think far too little of me, Hinata. I can't buy you food out of the goodness of my heart. Hinata simply hums in return, ignores the way her stomach faintly growls. Admittedly, the elder's quiet displeasure at her latest behavior has messed with her appetite some. Especially when it affects Hanabi too. The elders refuse to spar with her and have decreased her portion sizes at mealtimes whenever father is away at a meeting with the Takatori clan or the other clan leaders of Konoha. She can deal with their silent scorn, the whispers behind her back until one glare makes them redden and look away. But what pains her the most is Hanabi is forced to avoid all their favorite places to relax together whenever she is already there. We don't want how Lady Hinata has been acting as of late to be passed along to you, Lady Hanabi. It's unbecoming. Hikari tries to shift her away from the garden. Seeing the chrysanthemums come into bloom will have to wait for another time. Hinata observes them quietly, fish pellets in her hands crumpling to dust from renewed pressure. Hanabi squirms in Hikari's grip. Sighs when her hold only tightens. I just want to see how big sis is doing. Even big brother Neji won't tell me what's going on. It isn't like she told Neji to take his meals in his room all week long, avoiding everyone unless necessary. Her speaking to the media at least knocked them all down a peg in the public's eye. We treat the Branch family kindly, so why would you say we're cruel to them just because of the seals alone? It's just to ensure the Byakugan doesn't get into the wrong hands. Honestly, Master Hiyashi has been far too lenient with you. Lady Haruka sneers. Kazuko nods, wrinkles his nose at Hinata's soft shrug. Why can't you be like Lady Hanabi or keep to the shadows like you used to? Her silence at their questions only increased her amount of chores, sparring sessions, and meditation to think of measures to turn this around for the clan for the trouble she's caused. He even bought me a cinnamon roll too for dessert. Hinata notes before peering back up into Jiraiya's continued Cheshire grin. I know you didn't come here for pleasantries or to simply drop off food. Jiraiya nods, half smiles. Your bodyguard isn't very sneaky. Did you ask him to pay those ladies to mess with me? Hinata tilts her head. I don't know or care to know what code is in his free time. Jiraiya full-on laughs then, teasingly ruffles at her hair until Hinata shakes him off. I see some of Naruto's pranking nature has rubbed off on you. Gotta give you props where it's due, you got me. I would appreciate it if you didn't go making copies of those photos around the town unless you want me to go run to the media on your academy escapades. A small grin lights Hinata's face before it falters, sighing. Footsteps approach before she can answer, Hiyashi taking in Jiraiya. The toad Sanin Jiraiya. What brings you to the Hyuga manor? Jiraiya gestures to the meal he brought Hinata. Just doing a check-in on your eldest daughter. I heard she was just discharged from the hospital and is a very close friend of Naruto's. She acts a bit like you when she's mad, I see now where she gets it from. The compliment stings. Hiyashi's brows furrow, peers between him and Hinata silently. I wasn't aware my daughter has been spending time training with you in our village's Jinchuriki. I hope she hasn't been too much of a bother. Jiraiya waves up a hand. Not at all, she keeps me on my toes, that's for sure. Hinata stiffens as if doused in ice, opalescent shifting to Jiraiya sharply. Father and I are nothing alike. She barbs out, ignoring Hiyashi's shift and gaze back to her. But Jiraiya has already begun walking away, has gotten under her skin too fast once again. Where were you? Naruto glares daggers at him upon his return, pout remaining even as Jiraiya holds up a bento for him. Jiraiya shakes his head. Business. Nothing you need to worry about, kid. Sakura, Kiba, and Shino Konoha Northeast Forests. There you are. How's your training been coming along, Shino? Sakura chimes out in greeting. About time we found you. She grins internally as he half turns around, seemingly startled by their approach. Or maybe annoyed. She still hasn't fully figured out how to read Shino's moods. It's been okay. Why do you ask? Shino nods to them both. Kiba rolls his eyes. Even doing security patrols with mom and sis might have been better than this. The rain has dampened everything around them, storm moving out towards the mountains and sea now creating patches of blue and gray skies. You sure you don't want to tag along? It's common for members of the Inuzuka to do scouting and vigilance for big events like this. Nah, I gotta keep up with my group training and exercises. Can't let Shino get ahead. Kiba beams, holds up his backpack to emphasize his plans for the day. Hana flicks at his forehead teasingly. Alright, if you say so. But I'm not covering you if mom smells beef jerky on you again instead of sweat and grass. Kiba waves up a hand. Yeah, did you forget that you can do sparring sessions with us too? Or are you too good for us now? He grunts, earning him a quick jab from Sakura. He's still a bit sour over his loss to Naruto in the preliminaries, received an earful of how to improve himself in future matchups and assignments from both Sum and Hana over the last few days. Shino's beetles flock to Sakura's arms and hair, a stream of black amid the greenery of the woods. It's not true that I've been avoiding you. Why? Because I've seen you both around the marketplace and weapon shops. Sakura and Kiba share a look. Both rarely see him around unless at the training grounds like now, or grabbing a quick meal from one of the market stalls with his dad before retreating back to their house. Why am I training alone? To figure out what I can do to overcome the weaknesses of my clan's insects. Any fire, water, or wind-related jutsu could quickly put me at a disadvantage. Therefore, I'm running simulations based on how I've seen the remaining competitors attack and what jutsu I know they have. Shino continues at their flat looks. Kiba stretches, Akamaru matching him as he takes to the trees above him. If it's a challenge you need, then you should have just said so earlier. See if you can land a hit on one of us without directly using your insects. Kurenai-sensei is always saying you need to find other ways to attack since most people know of the Aburame clan around these parts. Sakura readily agrees, molds up a mix of water and ground from the earlier rainstorms. We'll add genjutsu too. That can be how you can trick or confuse whoever you face next. Smell, sight, and hearing are the easiest senses to distort. Even though Shino's bugs already know her and Kiba's sense, Sakura brushes them off, raises up her hands. Water release, spider's net. A dome of water envelops the area, layering them in pine and dew. Leaves and bushes crackle through the breeze as Sakura and Kiba disappear further into the barrier amid the shuffle of noise. My insects could follow their chakra, but maybe I should try smoking them out of hiding via fire. Shino considers. His beetles move aside as he gathers heat to his hands. Fire release, magma burst. The ground becomes scorching hot until grass blackens and dirt melts, forming a river of molten rock. Oh, he's starting with heat to try and get to us. Sakura notes, going left while Kiba moves right. She steps back too fast as a thin veil of gray mist circles near her feet, stumbles over a root. No, an arm. The change in terrain and passing rains has brought this body up, dirt and leaves sliding off. Sakura stills, takes in the pale grayish-white hue to the man's skin, stomach twisting as her eyes trail over to the damage done. I've seen these clothes before. Purple pants and top that were worn by Team Kabuto members during the exams. Yoroi or Masumi, though she can't tell which this guy is going by the state of the decay. Said clothes are now in tatters, caked in mud and dried blood, shredded apart from the animals that call this forest home. Her gaze moves on to the man's shattered glasses to the side and snake bites at his arms that eerily remind her of the one she briefly glimpsed on Sasuke's neck. The biggest injury though is the violet bruise that bloomed near the back of his head and neck. The one that killed him. Dark eyes stare back at her vacantly. Death has never been so close to her. Bile creeps up her throat not to scream. Instead, she hurriedly moves herself back into a standing position, sniffs the air before following the trail of fire. Shino's insects find her first as soon as she undoes her water dome, sense her panic bringing Kiba out of hiding too. AA corpse. A guy from the exams. Sakura blurts out in a rush. She leads the way back, but only an outline of where the man's body once was lingers around the foliage now. How did someone move this body so fast? Sakura glances around, only hears the crackle of wind and low chirp of birds above. Kiba sniffs the ground before wincing in disgust, Akamaru yipping, gesturing south. I agree, boy. Someone dragged whoever was here that way. Sakura purses her lips while Shino studies the flies and maggots clinging to the underbrush. Telling by the age and color of these larvae, the body had probably been here at least a few days or so. Sakura rubs at her head, shakes away numbness crawling down her arms. Pieces of cloth and hair have slipped off into the thorns of the bushes. Samples they can easily collect to bring back to Kurenai-sensei and the other Jonins. This was a sloppy job. Whoever did this wanted this man's body to eventually be found. Jiraiya, Naruto, and Hinata Naka River Kurotani Gorge. You're progressing way too slowly, kid. Jiraiya sighs. Irritation laces his voice at another week about to go by with no progress. His gaze turns skyward, sun dipping low beneath the trees casting the area in fuchsias and reds. Naruto doesn't bother hiding the grit of his teeth at the variety of tadpoles surrounding him, arms stiff and sore as he turns around to face him. I really am trying to get this down. Maybe if you stopped being an old perv running off to go look at girls every 5 minutes and gave me some real advice. He trails off, Jiraiya studying the flickers of vermilion in his eyes again. I'm gonna have to increase the danger if he's truly to master summoning. He decides. He gestures for him to stand, nods for him to follow him. Do you want to give up for the day or try one final idea I have in mind? Jiraiya asks as they walk westward away from the river. He at least needs to know if he's truly serious about this or not. Naruto rolls his neck, forces himself to match his pace. If it's actually gonna help, I'll do whatever you have in mind. Jiraiya chuckles, pulls him forward to tussle up his hair. That's the spirit, kid. I like that energy. Naruto wiggles himself out of his hold, gapes as they reach a clearing as the forest's path gives way to stones and dirt. The mountains above loom ominously in the coming dark, cracks splitting the ground the further they walk along. Where is this? Naruto asks slowly, voice seeming to echo. Only the sound of crumpling rocks greets him back. Jiraiya pushes him a bit forward. Kurotani Gorge. One of many black valleys nearby that gets minimal sunlight each year, but are known for their ravines, rivers, and chasms. Naruto marvels at the scenery, from the corner of his eye sees Jiraiya's grin is off. Too tight. The crunch of gravel cracks in his ears as his arm shoves at him, abruptly losing his balance. What are you doing? His world tilts before he can finish, rocks crackling replaced with the screech of air. A gasp comes out behind him right as Naruto falls into the crevasse, Jiraiya chuckling. Right on time. Hinata. Her bento lies smashed at her feet, veins throbbing to life at the sides of her eyes. What have you done? Jiraiya strolls up to her casually, Hinata standing her ground. What I needed to. You and I can't coddle Naruto or else he'll never grow and gain better mastery over the Nine Tails chakra. By throwing him into a fissure. She spits back. Hinata moves to jab at his arm, Jiraiya easily ducking under her before sliding up right behind her. Your temper changes nothing. It's good that you followed us out here as I expected you would when Naruto was late on returning back to his apartment. You never planned to fully listen to me anyways and used this tracking pen you put in his jacket, right? Hinata watches as he crushes it to pieces, blows the powder to the ground. He pats at her shoulder before she can respond, voice turning cutting, aloof. Since you love Naruto so much, you can join him. Let's see if he can protect you both. The yelp dies in her throat at his shove, too hard and impossible to avoid. His grin gets replaced with a view of the sky. Tumbling. Naruto and Hinata Kurotani Gorge. Tears sting her eyes, she hurriedly blinks away, darkness swallowing her. Breath. Focus. She won't die in this ravine, can't die in this crevice without anyone but Jiraiya knowing. The walls are too slick from previous rainstorms and mud, there's nothing around her to properly grip onto. Maybe she could blast at the rocks to form a makeshift ladder to climb back up and out of here, but her freefall is too fast to even create a proper current in any direction. She turns her body just slightly, seeing a blur of orange below her. Naruto. Her voice echoes and bounces along the chasm's sides, Naruto turning his head instantly gaping. Hinata, why are you in here? His heartbeat rises in tempo. This can't be a part of the pervy sage's test for him by throwing Hinata in here too. He isn't that cruel, that vicious. She must have came to check on me. He hurriedly realizes. And then she slipped. No, Jiraiya must have pushed her in. Damn it, what's wrong with that pervert? Naruto grits his teeth, nicks his thumb again. Now it isn't just his life on the line here. He hasn't ever conversed properly with the Nine Tails within him since learning of his existence. Bad enough that people treat him as a pariah for having this creature, though there's no other way to get out of this situation than to acknowledge it. And the power he can give him. Fox. Beast. Whatever you are, I'm taking some of your chakra. Naruto declares. He hears his growl ripple across the terrain, the assurity that this will cost him more than just blood spilled for the amount of chakra needed to escape from here. Stealing my chakra like this comes with a price, boy. You will soon enough lose control, and when that time comes, I'll take over your body and break free from this prison. His sanity could be next time. Naruto ignores his threats, spins as close as he can get to Hinata. Summoning jutsu. The whistling of air stops. His cheek lands and presses against something slimy, tongue wrapping around his form before he can dwell fully on what exactly he's landed on. Golden eyes bore into him before they narrow. Some random brat. Where's Jiraiya? Gamabunta questions, notes the ever-yawning darkness of crevasse below them. He doesn't smell smoke or blood in the air, so at least that means they aren't at war. Though peace never lasts for long in any of the great nation's territories from what he's seen and been involved in. Naruto taps at his head again. Jiraiya threw me in this gorge for training. I'm the one who summoned you, Naruto Uzumaki. Gamabunta goes quiet, scoffs. You summoned me. Kid, you don't have the chakra to summon me, the chief toad of Mount Myoboku. Is Jiraiya playing some type of prank on me, because this a waste of my time? Naruto bristles at his continued disbelief, considers if it's worth it to argue with this giant toad who could easily slide him off his body at any moment if he wants to. Hinata maneuvers herself beside him before he can speak, pats at Gamabunta's side to get his attention. Naruto is telling the truth, Jiraiya had him form a contract with the toads of Mount Myoboku as part of his training for the Chunin exam finals. Could you please get us out of here? He tossed me in here as well. My name is Hinata Hyuga, by the way. If you're the chief toad, you must be Gamabunta, correct? Ah, this toad guy will surely listen to Hinata. Thank goodness for all the research she's done in Hyuga politeness. Gamabunta gives pause at her knowing of him. Strange for Jiraiya to toss a young girl into a ravine without reason. He wraps his tongue around her next, takes in her trademark pearl eyes before setting her back down. What did you two kiddos do to piss Jiraiya off so bad? Naruto shoots him a scowl he can't see. Nothing. Get us out of here already, you know. Aren't you supposed to listen to your summoner? Hinata pats at his shoulder to try and calm him, but Gamabunta chuckles. Okay, now I know why he threw the boy in. However, what about you, girl? I just needed to have a chat with him, though he didn't want to have one at the moment. Hinata smiles, though her voice is low like thunder. And Gamabunta senses everything she won't say of Jiraiya. His snicker rumbles through him, leaps them up and out of the gorge. Minus a few scratches and bruises, the pair seem to be okay. Still, Jiraiya leads the way for them to go to the hospital for a full head-to-toe assessment after one glance. Gamabunta opts to carry them over, Naruto utterly zapped of energy to argue one way or another. He gets admitted to the observation unit for the night, Hinata in the room next to him. This brat reminds me of his old man. Minato wasn't one to take no for an answer either. Gamabunta muses at having added his fingerprint beneath Naruto's name, turns his attention back to Jiraiya finishing up with the duo's check-in paperwork. They're lucky I'm paying for this hospital bill. Jiraiya grumbles to himself, fishes out how much Ryo will be needed. So, what did you do to anger that girl? I'm sure you picked up on that venomous glare she was sending you out of the corner of her eye all the way here. He asks as the last vestiges of sunlight pass over them. Orange-yellow rays highlight Jiraiya's smile. She's just a bit mad that I wouldn't let her watch or follow Naruto's training as much as she would have liked. Gamabunta hums at that, shifts his pipe between his lips to take a drag before he heads back home, veil of smoke drifting southward on the wind. I don't think she's the type to let something like this go. Jiraiya shrugs, grin widening as he takes a puff from his pipe too. You're right, she isn't. Hinata Aoka's bar. How long am I going to have to keep this transformation jutsu up? Hinata sighs. She checks her reflection in her compact mirror one last time, eyes a plain mousy brown, hair a charcoal black. Nobody special. At night, the red light district breathes, truly comes to life. And it's where she will find Jiraiya's best of the best spies. Misako must already have a line of customers out the door seeking her attention, but they'll have to wait. Especially since she has important news for her. She follows a flood of turquoise and gold lights near the dance floor to the smell of lily and rose perfumes wafting in the air. It's no surprise that Aoka's is one of Jiraiya's favorite clubs at the high-end sakes, wines, and plush furniture dotting every corner, waves over to a bartender setting up a crystal tower of glasses. Sorry, it's my first night here. Do you happen to know where Misako is? She's supposed to be training me tonight. Hinata asks. The man nods towards the dressing rooms. Most likely either in dressing room 3, her private one, or the main one getting ready with the other ladies. You picked Angels and Devils night to start. Huh. Good luck out there, and no matter how much Ryo you make, don't let any of these men get too handsy. Just signal for Ajiro if they do. Hinata nods, follows his directions past a sea of devil horns and angel wings. This should only take 5 minutes. Hopefully. She recognizes Misako from previous photos that showcased Club Aozuke that circulate throughout the top red light district's nightclubs and bars. Only the most beautiful blondes, brunettes, redheads, and raven-haired women get front-page features. And last month, Misako was featured under their Busty Blondes of Summer promotion. Though Misako didn't used to be a blonde, she was born a brunette with hazel eyes. She only recently changed her features to avoid her parents, her old life. Jiraiya's type. Hinata muses, carefully schools her features to be one of calm. There's a high chance Jiraiya already warned her that she would be coming since her hospital discharge 2 days ago. But it isn't for her to get intel on him, it is to tell Misako what she's learned about her. She tries her private room first, thankful when she hears her shout and no one else's. Just a minute. Zipping up. Misako blinks when she comes to the door a moment later, looks Hinata twice over. A smile graces her lips at her fidgeting. Ah, you're a newbie. First nights are always rough. How can I be of help? Feeling dizzy. Nauseous. Hinata bows. A toad in a well brought me here. Misako tilts her head just slightly, friendly grin vanishing. She steps aside to let her in, quickly locks her door behind her. Jiraiya did send a messenger toad along that a girl playing dress up may come by the club. But I nearly considered it was just one of his jokes. Look, I'm not going to spill any gossip or info on him, you wasted your time coming here. Misako laughs airily. Hinata shakes her head. You're mistaken, Setsuna. I'm here because your boyfriend Koji is concerned about you. I met him at his workplace to show him updated photos of you, articles written about you. Misako goes rigid. My real name. My ex-boyfriend. Hinata steps closer, grabs at her hands. Koji was so worried when I told him I heard rumors that you're helping one of Konoha's spies. Especially since you're not a full-on shinobi taking active missions. He said it was too dangerous of a lifestyle for you to be caught up in such things. He went ahead and told your parents and older brother his fears for your safety. In fact, they should all be coming by here tonight. Misako pulls her hands out of her grasp, breath quickening. What? I never told Mom, Dad, or Yuma about our breakup. Koji is my ex. We broke up because he was always so overprotective, to the point of trying to keep me shut inside 24/7. But Koji is such a good man, why not move in together like all other couples do around your age? He's on his way to being a manager of his department. I heard from Hana at the markets that he even does business all the way in Kumo and Kiri. Are you sure about this, Setsuna dear? Setsuna clamps up, voice drying to a rasp. Yes, Mom, I'm not ready to take that next step with him. We won't rush any more marriage or grandchildren talks. Yuma and her dad mention in jest to calm Mom's fretting. Her stomach lurches at the wave of memories. The way he always smelled of sweat and sandalwood after working at the construction site, his belly laughs whenever she poked at his sides. His anger. You're leaving me. What makes you think you can do any better than me? No guy in this village is going to want a damaged girl with scars who barely has a libido. Come on, Setsuna, I'm the only man who can put up with caring for you. Hinata nods. And now Koji can protect you again. Forever. Misako bites at her lips. Until the skin tears. I'll call security, I'll have guards by me all night so that we never cross paths. He already knows now all the clubs you work at within Konoha's most respected brothels and lounges within the red light district. He'll always be on the lookout for you, I suspect. Hinata counters. Misako scoffs, crosses her arms. Well, if worse comes to worse, I'll have Jiraiya or some hitman make him disappear. Nobody would miss him. Hinata's brows furrow. Your parents and his would know. I have proof set up that would let all of them know their daughter hired a shinobi to kill an innocent man over trusting and hearing them out. Misako holds up a hand, thumping of brass rising outside. It's almost showtime. She leans backwards before Hinata can move for her, shatters at the closest mirror. A rush of pain jolts up her arm, disregards it, poising the glass shard for Hinata's neck. At this rate, only injury will prevent an encounter with her old flame and family. What will it take to make you leave and pretend you were never here? Hinata gently moves the jagged piece away, wraps at her wound with the closest towel before any more blood lands on the white frills of her dress. You already know Setsuna how to ensure tonight only feels like a bad dream. Stop being Jiraiya's spy. Kakashi Hokage Tower, Meeting Room 1. That body is at least a week old. Kakashi notes from a sparing glance. The opposite of Hayate's, his remains stained in red, slash marks deep enough to expose muscle and bone. We shouldn't be meeting again so soon. But death comes with the territory of being a shinobi, no matter how gruesome. He guesses Sakura found that body somewhere near the southeast woods, turns his attention back to his coffee over the corpse displayed on screen in front of them. Not the best way to start his morning. We have reason to believe that the dead body Sakura Haruno found was put there on purpose. I updated Lord Third, and while he does plan to have increased security at each entry checkpoint into the arena, there's no plans at this time to delay the finals. Kurenai relates to the room. Asuma fishes for a cigarette, sends her a knowing look across the table. He could have told her that. With all the Ryo people have spent to come here from the other great nations, not to mention all the Ryo Konoha has generated from holding this year's exams, there was no way his old man would cancel or postpone things. Though it doesn't look good to cover up a serial killer or killers on the loose. Orochimaru is sending a message, there will be more bodies to come. And his dad probably feels like he should deal with his former student on his own terms when the time is right. Aoba raises a hand. Have the preliminary autopsy reports come in? Shikaku nods. The deceased is Masumi Tsurugi, originally from Team Kabuto. Cause of death appears to be blunt force trauma to the back of the head in addition to a stab wound near the left side of his neck. He had been dead over 72 hours by the time he was found, with some nearby animals and insects unfortunately having destroyed parts of his body. However, we're still waiting on the toxicology results to see if he was potentially drugged, and if so, with what poisons, to better know what we're working with here. Guy shudders to his left, downs another gulp of his coffee. It's the first time in a good while he's seen him look so morose. But when Guy catches his stare, he instantly forms a grin and thumbs up. Don't worry about me, Kakashi. As soon as this coffee hits, I'll be raring to go in, doing 50 laps around the village. Care to join me? No thanks. Kakashi answers flatly. Guy's smile doesn't even crack. Tomorrow then, I'll hold you to it. Have to ensure my rival stays in tip-top shape. Kakashi shrugs, turns his attention back to the main conversation at hand. Sasuke versus Gaara. Asuma peers over at him. Do you think your student is ready for him? You saw how he was back in the preliminaries against Lee. Kakashi nods, straightens. Yes, I've taught him what I know to counter Gaara's defenses and sand. Though I have to hope it will be enough for what Gaara seems to be for Suna. The equivalent of Naruto. And as if his thoughts have been read, the conversation twists again. Genma flicks his Senbon needle between his teeth, amusement shining in his eyes. Whatever he wants to say he knows may get under his skin. Interesting. You know, your other students Naruto Uzumaki and Hinata Hyuga were just discharged from the hospital the other day. He's been training with one of the legendary Sannin. Kakashi feels his skin prickle at the wave of silence, teasing lilt in Genma's voice. I'm aware. I know Naruto can handle himself against whoever he's set to face. I believe in him. Kurenai clears her throat. And Hinata hasn't given you any further trouble. Asuma nearly bites his cigarette in half, Kurenai ignoring his blatant stare. Kakashi shakes his head, chuckles to ease the tension in the room. No issues. Trust me, Hinata has nothing on me to use. Besides, Jiraiya is the one that gives her trouble now. Hiyashi, Neji, and Hinata Konoha Stadium. Is this seat taken? Neji points to the empty spot on Hinata's right. The lines to get into the stadium nearly curved around it, gamblers reveling over who will win in the matchup of Sasuke vs. Gaara. Naruto vs. Temari is just the warm-up, the match they can use to go to the concession stand or take a quick restroom break. Hinata's gaze shifts to the open seat, takes off her handbag to place it there. Yes, my bag wants to watch Naruto's match too. Neji rolls his eyes, tenses at a few looks sent his way. Even under normal circumstances, the trademark eyes of the Hyuga are typically easily recognizable to any visitors in this region, even those not fully familiar with all of Konoha's noble clans. How long are you going to stay mad at me, Lady Hinata? He drops his voice to a low hiss. Opalescent turns look at him fully. So polite now. I'm sorry, is there a timetable on forgiving someone for trying to kill you? Hiyashi pats at her shoulder. Hinata. Just let him sit, can't you see he's trying to mend old bridges? Hinata pushes his hand off. Switch seats with me then, father. I'll sit next to Hanabi, and you can sit next to Neji. Hiyashi matches her stare. And will you throw a tantrum like a child if I don't? He inquires icily. Hinata blinks, laughs gently. No, father, I would just embarrass you in a different way. You care more about the clan's image than me after all. His stomach knots. How long has Hinata thought this way? That's not true. But Hinata is no longer peering his way, smiling in Hanabi's direction sincerely. Warmth runs over her as she bounces in her seat, beaming at the suggestion. Hanabi tugs gently at Hiyashi's sleeve. I barely get to talk to Big Sis as it stands at the compound, father. The elders keep saying she's a bad influence. Please. Hiyashi pinches the bridge of his nose, lets his daughters do as they want for now. Neji frowns as they each get situated in their new spots, keeps his voice low. I thought you weren't going to give in. Hiyashi shakes his head. You forget where we are, Neji and the who's who of Konoha that are in attendance to this event too. Neji's gaze softens some. Uncle, you're proving Hinata's earlier comment right. Hiyashi doesn't respond, low whistle towards the arena's center, getting everyone's attention. The first match is about to begin. Hinata leans forward in her seat as Naruto and Temari head in from opposite sides of the stadium. His eyes search the stands until they land on her, smile and give each other a nod. Temari doesn't look pleased to have him as her first final round matchup, rolls her neck with a frown, looking Naruto up and down. Well, better that she thinks of Naruto as a loser too. Most of these girls visiting from the outside regions haven't been able to keep their eyes off of Sasuke. Hinata assures herself. I'm surprised you even made it this far with all the rumors I've heard about you. Dead last, right? Temari snorts. Naruto cracks his knuckles. That title was from my academy days. And don't worry, you'll know and remember my name by the end of this match, Naruto Uzumaki. Future Hokage of Konoha. Temari shrugs, readies her fan. Doubt it. Genma nods for them both to step forward. Hinata smiles beneath the palm of her hand. Give her hell, Naruto. Naruto and Temari. Konoha Arena, ground floor. Wind release, whirlwind prison. Another set of Narutos get trapped in her vortex and poofed away, but the original still remains free. And even then, he'd still probably get right back up once the gale storm calms enough. I can just keep blowing your clones away no matter how much stamina you have or how you try to hide. Temari declares. He's never going to get close enough to land a real hit on her, it's only by luck this idiot got so far. Come on, stay down already. Temari pants. Her throat feels as if she's swallowed glass and fire, even the worst summer sandstorms back home don't hurt her throat this much. She grits her teeth though at how long this fight has dragged out, feeling Gaara and Konkuro's stares from within the crowd, dirt starting to layer her fan too much from the debris kicked up. Everything around her has become tinged in browns and grays. Naruto's formed holes in the ground to escape the worst of her wind blades. It seems as she clears away the haze, hears his voice come up behind her. Wind release, crescent gale burst. Temari quickly ducks under the sharp curve of wind, many blades of air slicing her cheek and neck before she fully leaps out of the way. Shit, I didn't even hear him. She inadvertently steps back into a hole, seeing a second clone approaching, foot covered with a sticky film she hurriedly shakes off. Oil. Temari sniffs the air. She brushes off what she can, fingers brushing at a tiny crack. No, a hole. Any attacks with it now won't be nearly as effective. Pain slices and runs down her arms like a river as she moves to a defensive stance, exhaustion needling at her to stop. Temari purses her lips, covers the fan's hole, forming a sweeping air dome, temporarily keeping Naruto back. Think. No matter how unpredictable his move patterns can be, he must have a weakness I can use to my advantage. All throughout this match Naruto has been using brute force, whittling down her, matching the pace of his onslaught of attacks. Toads gather near her feet to slow her down once more, scowl rising up before she can fully hide it. Naruto chuckles. It's not too late to forfeit. I won't hold it against you as soon as shinobi you know. Temari shakes her head, changes tactics. If she loses this match, if Naruto somehow knocks her unconscious, she'll be of no help at all to the invasion. Baki shakes his head just barely when she risks a glance in his direction. They still need more time to set up things. I'll just make him a little angry enough to lose focus. When he trips up, that's when I'll strike. That girl you were looking at earlier is a Hyuga, isn't she? I doubt she'd be interested in someone who's barely skilled in ninjutsu. Temari taunts. Naruto's smile vanishes, cocks his head. Why bring Hinata into this? Sweat drips down her back leaving a trail of goosebumps at the abrupt gravel to his voice, air growing charged with heat. He disperses his remaining clones circling her. Now he'll fight her one-on-one. You're going to lose, you should have just accepted that. Vermilion washes over blue, rushes forward wrenching her fan away. Naruto tosses it right to the toads who instantly cover it from top to bottom, oil coating at each spoke until iron starts to melt. He turns his gaze back to her, Temari faltering backwards in surprise. She's seen this look before in Gaara. A loathing, jaw tight hard enough to hear it crack. Move Temari before I suffocate you in sand. An old warning for accidentally blocking him getting to his room, scrambling back into the wall hard enough to form a bruise on her shoulder. He's killed for far lesser infractions. And now her shoulders drop in the same way as they did that day inadvertently, breath-forming shallow pants as Naruto steps forward. Gaara is your brother, right? Do people call him a monster too? Naruto and Temari Konoha Arena, ground floor. Her body refuses to obey her mind. Damn it, come on, move. I can't die here, not to the boy who's supposed to be the bottom of the barrel of Konoha's latest genin. Temari purses her lips. But his class ranking no longer matters here and now. If he's truly Konoha's Jinchuriki, then she calculated this all wrong. Gaara's grisly smile flickers to the front of her thoughts mirroring Naruto's own, features he always gained right before a kill. Her throat clicks as she swallows, heart lurching wildly in ears making the arena spin. She manages to steady her breathing to short and ragged bursts, legs still shifting backwards about to give out. And all the while, scarlet eyes stay pinned on her. Getting closer. The crash of her fan further sinking into the earth by Naruto's toads splits the silence, Temari jerking her head to look for any type of opening. Naruto follows her eyes, scoffs. What? Trying to run away now after you so casually declared I was loser? That it was pointless to face me. Temari ignores him, shoots left only for Naruto to snatch her arm, roughly jerk her backwards. His fist slams into her cheek before she can fidget out of his grip, knuckle cracking against tooth and bone with a sharp crack. Blood blooms like rust against his fingers as Temari crumples, Naruto hovering above her watching the bruise form before twisting at her right arm next. A gasp explodes from her lips feeling muscles start to tear, holds up her left hand. Stop. I forfeit. It doesn't matter that she feels her brothers and Baki sending her frustrated looks at giving up so soon, they aren't the ones about to die. I still want to live, to not die in this foreign land. Temari's breathing warbles. Crimson bores into teal, fingers coiling at her throat instead. I don't care. You started this. Her lungs burn as he slams her head back into the wall, bile slushing up her throat. A Senbon needle whizzes between them just as her lips begin to take on a bluish hue, Genma studying Naruto warily if further backup is needed. His hold hasn't become tight enough to shatter her windpipe, but it's heading there. Temari has forfeited Naruto. Let her go. He commands. Naruto looks from Genma to Temari for a long minute, reluctantly drops her. He flicks her lingering blood off back onto her, smiles again. Well, I don't wanna get disqualified. Now you know looks can be deceiving you know. Temari watches as Naruto shoves his hands into his pockets, leaves humming a random tune while the taste of copper singes her nose. Her muscles twitch with every movement, bruises tinging darker each time she flexes her arms or moves her head. Two medics are instantly by her side, penlight swung across her eyes, clothing ripped as a stethoscope is placed to her chest. Her vision fills with spots, only picking up bits of their conversation. Please don't try to move. I'm guessing least 2 or 3 broken ribs from that strike against the wall, likely a concussion too. Damn, I hope we don't have a brain bleed on our hands. We'll need X-rays though to confirm. Stabilize her head, arms, and chest to Zuko. She'll also need a CT of the head and referral to respiratory and cardiology stat. The first medic writes down notes as they get her onto a stretcher. Takuzo nods, assesses Temari's jaw. Add dental and reconstruction to your list as well, Micah. He took out at least a few teeth with that punch too. Stop being so nice to me, we're about to destroy your village. I doubt we would do the same if these exams took place in Suna. Temari thinks, head pounding too much to speak. Every inhale scrapes against her ribs like broken glass as she meets the first medic's eyes. Indigo eyes that remind her of mother's peer back at her warmly. Her teeth clench. When they first discussed talks of teaming up with Odogaker to destroy Konoha, she hadn't paid any care towards the civilians that would get caught up in it. Those just living innocent day-to-day jobs outside the shinobi life. You'll be okay. We'll take you to operating room now to clear up the most critical injuries. She pats reassuringly her hand. Temari tries and fails to shake her head that they should just leave her be to get treatment from Suna's medics, Micah turning back to her partner. Pass me the lidocaine and morphine. We don't want her inadvertently wiggling out of these bindings. Anti-inflammatory and antibiotic vials too. Takuzo asks. Micah nods brightly. You're learning fast on your feet. I'm glad Konoha's medical board is allowing residents to help out here. You're getting a mix of emergency care cases and intermediate wounds that we commonly see from C and B ranked missions. I don't want to be a case, I need to get back to my team. Temari panics at the glint of the needle near her arm. Her head is placed in a brace before she can try and move away, coolness running through her veins a moment later before she can try to roll off the stretcher. Kankuro catches her gaze before hurriedly looking away. He must still plan to forfeit, even if it will further make them look bad or suspicious to the crowds. Gaara doesn't spare her a glance, though his eyes spark with a new curiosity at Naruto, flexing his fingers. His sand swirls about him, really just waiting for when he can face and kill Sasuke Uchiha. And maybe fight Naruto now too. It's Baki who stares at her the longest before the medicine fully kicks in, worry mirroring her own at what he saw too. What they've realized. Konoha's tailed beast is taking part in these exams too. Is that going to ruin the invasion plans? Jiraiya and Hinata, Jiraiya and Orochimaru Konoha Arena, stands. Why are you here? Hinata murmurs at Jiraiya now sitting in her seat. Naruto's victory was a guarantee. And with Shikamaru vs Kankuro being the next matchup, her interest moved to getting a drink and snack to wait out when she could meet Naruto back at the arena's main entrance. Jiraiya takes her drink and popcorn from her hands in response, happily sips at the soda. Thanks, I was getting thirsty. Hinata gapes at him, bites her tongue before she gets too carried away. You're going senile, aren't you? Jiraiya chuckles. Well, 1, I'm not old, and 2, I'm actually being nice despite how mean you're being to me right now. Hinata looks beside him. Father, Hanabi, and Neji are missing. Where's Hanabi? Hinata smiles, though her nails tighten. On the seat closest to her forming cracks. Jiraiya blinks. Geez, no care for where your old man and cousin are. Hinata purses her lips, anger rising before she can tamper it. I'm sure father and Neji are fine. What did you do to Hanabi? Knots fill her chest. This is because of Setsuna. Jiraiya reads her features easily, smirks as he leans forward. Goosebumps ignite across her skin. He sees too, tone cutting. I admit, it did get under my skin a little bit that you spooked one of my best spies into an early retirement. I don't recommend you mess with my network again. I had to clean up quite a few loose ends to assure Setsuna that her identity wasn't compromised and neither her family nor her ex would be a future annoyance. Pearl eyes cloud. I don't feel too guilty about that. You threw me into a ravine. I could have killed her. Jiraiya snorts, waves up a hand. You and Naruto learned how to face true danger, you should be thanking me. Now, I forgive you for your earlier behavior because there's bigger things at play right now. Hinata's shoulders drop as he nods towards the Hokage box. Go down to level 1 by the concession stands again. Kids waiting there for you. I evacuated your family so they should be back at the Hyuga Manor making preparations in your underground bunkers or gone to the Hokage Rock for further updates. You're welcome. A shout erupts from below before Hinata can answer. Kankuro has opted to forfeit after a short skirmish. Winner, Shikamaru Nara. Shikamaru's shadows recede back from Konkuro's puppet, Hinata taking in a smirk. Konkuro hides too late. Forfeiting on purpose. Chips and popcorn fly about like confetti, heads geared towards the entrance. Finally, the main event is coming. Who'd you bet on? The Uchiha or Sand Kid? A man asks in the row in front of them. The man to his left bounces on his feet. My bet's on the Uchiha pulling out the win in the end. I better make all the Ryo I put down and more. I heard he underwent training with Kakashi, and we've all heard the rumors on how tough he can be. Nothing appears to be out of the ordinary. Why do Naruto and I need to evacuate? What's going on? Her stomach drops and it feels like she's been tossed in the chasm again, roar of wind and darkness surrounding her. Closing in. What's going on? Hinata whispers. Her gaze moves around the stands at revelers yawning, exchanging ryo, or munching at their snacks without care. Sunlight filters in through clouds thinning out, blue stretching for miles. Jiraiya's stare flattens. The less you know, the better. Now get going before I have a toad carry you out. Hinata frowns, brows pinching together, though does as he instructs, heading back down. Naruto waves her over, grabs at her arm as soon as she's in range. You alright? Hinata blinks, nods. It's him who's still littered in a few scratches and bumps, jacket coated with a mix of dirt and grass. Yes, but what's going on with you and Jiraiya? Explain please. Naruto shakes his head. Your guess is as good as mine. Pervy Sage told me right after my match that we need to get away from here, made sure to tell me as soon as I finished being assessed by the medics. This stadium and the surrounding areas aren't safe, something about a planned attack. He shifts from foot to foot. Still, I wonder if he would mind if I at least watched a few minutes of Sasuke's match, you know. It doesn't seem right that I don't at least get to see whatever Kakashi-sensei taught him over this past month. Oi, they're so late though. I don't want him to get disqualified. Hinata searches with her Byakugan, neither close by. I think they'll give them some grace if they're late, it's the one match everyone in there seems to be waiting for. More importantly, Jiraiya didn't sound like he was playing around for once. However, is going to the Hokage rocker back to the compound truly the safest areas? Hinata considers. We can't worry about Sasuke right now, Naruto. We need to get away from here. Jiraiya might have told us in particular to avoid us being singled out by some of the visitors here from neighboring nations. Kumo shinobi are in the crowds, and she has nothing on her to disguise her eyes. Not to mention that everyone there has seen what Naruto can do when angry enough. Like Gaara. Better to not wait around. Hinata pulls on Naruto's arm for them to get moving. Alright ladies and gentlemen, the match you've all been waiting for is finally here, Sasuke Uchiha vs Gaara of the Sand. One of the announcers' voices comes back onto the intercom. Screams bellow out, a thunder of cheers. Naruto's pace slows some and reluctantly Hinata gives follow into the tallest tree nearby for him to watch for a couple of minutes. What can you see with your Byakugan? Naruto squints. Hinata hums. A charge of lightning in Sasuke's hands, Gaara forming a dome of sand around himself. Her stomach swishes at blood soaking the sand, cracking the barrier, a feat nobody has been able to do to him throughout this entire examination. Hinata turns her attention back to Naruto, still trying and failing to get a better look without falling over. She tugs at his arm. Sorry, but we need to get going now. They'll go to the Hyuga compound. Father can handle Naruto being there for a few hours without combusting. Naruto points back towards the arena, eyes concentrating on the sky. Hold on Hinata, is that feathers raining down in there? Alright, that's my cue. Jiraiya elongates his hair forward as soon as the first flicker of white comes into view. What on earth is going on, Sarutobi? These feathers are making everyone start to fall asleep. The Wind Daimyo asks, speech starting to slur the more the sea of feathers grows. Gaara's teeth snap below, sand starting to encompass his body too soon. If I don't get to fight Sasuke Uchiha, then I'll fight the one who beat Temari to near death. He roars out. No, he isn't even fully out of the arena yet. He's supposed to start rampaging once Konoha's forces have been weakened enough. He panics before Gaara's figure disappears from sight. The cage box begins to fill with a thin line of smoke as Jiraiya lands in. Hiruzen catches his eye first, understands immediately. The invasion he feared is starting. Now. Jiraiya points a finger at the cage, draws in a breath. His guards attempt to move in to cover him, Jiraiya's hair pinning them in place. "I'd stay out of this if I were you. Don't wanna burn you guys," he warns. It falls on deaf ears as both men fight his hold. "Hey, you can't be in here. Someone stop him," the guard on his left shouts. Jiraiya chuckles, ignores them focusing on the cage. "Aren't you getting tired of that old disguise? It probably smells by now wearing someone else's skin like that." Rasa says nothing, though Jiraiya watches as his fingers tighten at his sides just before he spits out the wave. Toad oil bullet. It splashes at his skin just as he attempts to turn his face away, Jiraiya igniting the trail blocking his path. No escaping this time Orochimaru. Jiraiya steps forward. The Suna guards' blades falter as they see their leader's face melt off, revealing gray skin, golden snake eyes. "You're not Rasa," the second guard whispers in shock. Orochimaru kicks them away towards the glass before they can turn their weapons on him, sighs. "You always did know how to be a troublemaker, Jiraiya." He laughs warmly, snaps his fingers. Outside, the ground quakes. Screams filling the arena echoing out. Brick and stone begin to crumple, the scent of blood grows. One of his summons. Jiraiya knows. Above, the ceiling gives way in an explosion of dust, 4 of his wards leaping down. They each have attire similar to Orochimaru's, skin marked with the same tattoos. "We've secured the area, Master Orochimaru. We're ready for your next orders," the twins in front announce. Orochimaru slides closer for Hiruzen, black smog rising around the group as his eyes shimmer with mirth. Hiruzen holds up a hand before Jiraiya can step closer, gestures to the Toad Sannin to go. "I'll be fine, Jiraiya. Go help the villagers evacuate and aid the other shinobi in battle. I can deal with Orochimaru and these kiddos." Obsidian turns murky, eyes skimming the wrinkles along Hiruzen's skin, gray locks that were once a vibrant brown. Age has caught up with him and Jiraiya balls his fists as Orochimaru's hands run across Hiruzen's arms and neck before he shoves him back, drops his Hokage attire. "Which will you choose, Jiraiya? Protecting the village or our sensei here?" Naruto and Hinata, Sasuke and Gaara Hyuga compound, Southwest Forests. "No scratches or bleeding," Hinata repeats. Hanabi nods, sinks into her side. "Nope. That nice old guy directed us out before things got bad apparently." She nods then to Naruto, warily keeping towards the garden, focus on the blue-green waters rippling with each rumble of earth. "How long is your boyfriend going to be here?" Hinata straightens. "As long as he needs to be." Nice, isn't exactly how she would describe Jiraiya, but she's thankful nonetheless for his help. Cracks litter the ground in and around the manor. None of the Hyuga members, branch or main family want Naruto here, Hinata's glare keeping them from outright saying so. "I'll go back out there. You should stay here with your old man and sister." Naruto decides, moving to a standing position once another quake ends. Hinata withers at the very suggestion. "Hanabi is who I was most concerned with. Now that I know she's fine, I'll help out on the front lines too." She heads for the clinic before Naruto can respond, shakes out nerves threatening to make her fingers tremble. "I'll never grow as a shinobi running from the slightest bit of danger or fear. Plus, we need to be sure Sasuke is okay and help any trapped civilians." Dr. Iwasaki keeps a wide variety of herbal tonics and remedies in here for stomachaches, headaches, and fevers from his travels. And poisons for those going on missions farther out of the land of fire. Extracts of mallow, oleander, wolfsbane, ginkgo, and valerian line his shelves. Hinata grabs them all. A flicker of orange hovers nearby, Hinata passing Naruto half the vials. "Take some of these too, you might be able to get any enemy to ingest these or at least get it on their skin." "I'll try and catch up as soon as I can," she voices, Naruto nodding. Neji meets her at the entrance, pats at her shoulder. Hinata blows out a shaky breath. "I won't do anything reckless, I promise. But I can't just sit here." Neji shakes his head. "I'm going to the market and business districts to help in searching for anyone still trapped under the debris before taking them to the Hokage Rock for further treatment. However, yes, don't do anything risky. Naruto and Uncle will have my head if you're injured unnecessarily." Hinata blinks, giggle bubbling up before she can hide it. "Yes, and we wouldn't want that." She follows the smell of pine, ash, and fire, greenery and bark of the woods tainted with black the further she treks in. They're heading back in the direction of Suna, lack the protection they came into Konoha with. Her eyes dart to sand-streaking bark, an argument through the trees. Gaara, we don't have time for this. We need to get back to Suna before one of Konoha's shinobi catches up to us. Kankuro hisses, readjusts himself at feeling his hold slip on Temari. Sasuke steps into view. None of you are leaving. I'm finishing my fight with Gaara and getting an explanation on those earlier attacks. A trail of black beetles circle around them, same ones he saw the Aburame member use in the preliminary matches. So he's hiding somewhere close by too. Kankuro curses under his breath. Sweat lines his brow at Baki's orders to get Gaara out of Konoha safely already starting to fall apart. He wishes not for the first time that they would have brought extra undercover guards like the council advised before their departure. And doing this alone without his sister makes it twice as hard. Please, just listen to me for once. Kankuro shakes Gaara's arm with a bit more force. Hinata stills in place taking in Gaara's transformed arm and tail. He throws Kankuro off of him akin to one of his puppets, Temari toppling with him. Jade eyes swirl back to Sasuke. I'll fight you Uchiha. Sasuke unleashes bullets of fire. Fire release, blaze barrage. Gaara weaves out of their path, grin turning vicious. Sand shuriken. Don't get too close. Hinata searches for any openings between them. No, there's nothing. Sasuke's strength and earlier speed is dropping with his last Chidori only temporarily keeping Gaara back, paralyzed now as his tail swings in for his chest. Her heart hammers, teeth clenching. Where is Naruto? She can't wait on him, places her palm against the closest tree. Lightning release, web lattice. The current puts a sticky barrier between the boys, Gaara's face snapping to her. He lands in front of her before she can move, looks her up and down in the same way he does to his siblings. An annoyance, treated as invisible. Who are you? Did that wall come from you? He growls. His stare rips and digs into her for an answer, Hinata forcing her gaze to stay on him, shifts a vial of foxglove and oleander from her sleeves. And no, from Sasuke. She lies. She points to his face before he can dwell on how Sasuke could have attacked him from that position. Why you have dark rings under your eyes? From insomnia, right. I can give you medicine to quiet the beast. Gaara scoffs. I never get a perfect night's rest. If I fall asleep, that's when Shukaku fully takes over. Still, he stops for only a second to look at the amber liquids, teeth snapping for her hand. Hinata smashes the bottles into his mouth before he can tear her hand clean off, stumbles back, sand pinning her to the ground. Her hand instantly throbs, breath knocked out of her. She wills her fingers to move, relief running through her that nothing seems to be broken. But heat pulses from the wound, burrows deep. Tears spring to her eyes, she quickly blinks away. Don't panic. He doesn't yet realize I can do lightning techniques too. And she still has one good hand left. A blur of movement shoves Gaara back, a gang of Narutos surrounding her. The original stops taking in the sand coating her, meets her eyes. Vermilion is reflected back at her. You okay? Hinata laughs warbly. Yes. No. I'll be fine. Gaara lands on the opposite tree, grins at Naruto's arrival. Good, you came. Show me that power that made you nearly kill my sister. Hinata nods for Naruto to go, calms her breathing. At the rate things are going, Gaara may fully transform. Is Naruto going to have to do the same? They've never fully talked about this creature in him, power that makes him just as monstrous as the whispers he often gets behind his back. No, perhaps those toxins will prevent that. Hinata murmurs. Hopefully. Spots darken. Her vision trying to keep track of them as they go blow for blow, sees a streak of red line Gaara's lips when he tries for a sand burial. Water release. Torrent jet. Blasts of water slice through Gaara's onslaught of sand waves, Naruto maneuvering to higher ground. Gaara's jaw ticks, clutches at his chest before giving follow. Darkness pulls her down, though her chest already feels lighter. It's working. Naruto, Hinata and Gaara southeast forests. Boom. Hinata jolts, staggers awake. Blood fills her mouth, metallic and hot, spits out the taste of sand and iron. The forest. Gaara. Naruto. Her mind whirls. She gathers lightning to her fingertips with her good hand, slices carefully at the sand wall until her body is freed. The woods have gone still, but a cloud of dust lingers in the air, crouching low. A siren buzzes in the distance, the all-clear signal. She washes and ties up her injured hand, ripping away part of her pants leg, Byakugan searching for any other people. Gaara and Naruto both lay fallen across from each other meters away. Blood streaks both their foreheads, Gaara's voice a low rasp. "Stop, don't come any closer." And Hinata uses that moment to step in behind Gaara before he can do or say anything else. Naruto catches sight of her, eyes widening at the glint of her kunai against a flash of sunlight. "We don't need to kill him, Hinata. Gaara isn't going to keep fighting." "No, he definitely won't be now." Hinata looks him over silently. She walks past Gaara over to Naruto, sits him up as best she can. "Are you alright? I'm sorry Sasuke and I couldn't have been of more help." Naruto's body lulls against her shoulder. "No, it's fine. Nothing a few days of rest can't cure, you know." Hinata's gaze fixes back on Gaara. Killing him won't change the destruction caused to the village, the lives lost. She swallows, taps at her head. "That tattoo is the kanji for love, though everything I've seen you do has been driven by bloodlust." Gaara stares back. "I formed it to symbolize only loving myself." He pauses, wonders maybe if she's a ghost. "You're not dead." Hinata smiles gently, remnants of electricity crackling through her fingers. "No, but don't worry. You never needed to be concerned about my abilities and now you never will." Naruto lifts his head up slightly, sees from her fogged expression Hinata isn't fully listening or looking at him anymore. He fists at her jacket even as she slides away from his hold. She settles beside Gaara, kunai poised for his throat. "People thought I was a monster too, don't forget. But you looked past that, Hinata, and so did Iruka-sensei, Sasuke, and Kakashi-sensei. If I can change, Gaara can too." Naruto yells out. Hinata peers back at him, opalescent layered with ice. And then she smiles. "Naruto, my love, I'm sorry, I'm not as forgiving as you." Naruto drags himself an inch forward. "Don't, Hinata. If Gaara dies, his tailed beast will be completely freed." Hinata pauses, clicks her tongue at his underlying warning. She must trust him on this. "I'd rather not have Naruto upset with me." All right, though I will at least give him a parting gift. A reminder of today's events. Her eyes focus instead on Gaara's hands and legs, spots that won't be instantly fatal to appease Naruto. Plunges the blade down. "Naruto, Hinata, and Gaara southeast forests. Your sand protects you, huh?" Hinata sighs, studies the sand swirling about the kunai's tip. Well, that doesn't really surprise her considering what she's seen of his sand's abilities since his and his siblings' arrival in Konoha. But there's a way to counter it at least. White eyes move back to green, smiling gently. "Don't worry, I'll be quick about this." She charges lightning to the blade the while ignoring Naruto's stare, drops it down again for Gaara's hand. Gaara's doesn't wince at the strike, digging until she hits bone. Blood slides out along his fingers into the grass, staining it deep crimsons to maroons, cut forming a jagged crescent. Hinata flicks off the blood as she pulls the blade out, gaze switching to his legs when she hears a rustle in the bushes behind them. Kankuro. He freezes upon the sight of them, muscles locking up just as Hinata swings the kunai for Gaara's leg. "Stop. Don't kill him." Hinata pointedly slashes at Gaara's right ankle anyways, leaps back as Kankuro spits out a fog of poisonous air. She lands back beside Naruto, hums at Kankuro's wound fists, eyes turning wild and dark. "Why are you so upset? I know you're afraid of him too. Now he won't be able to do any harm with that right hand of his. I severed the nerves in that hand and can finish doing his legs too if you'd get out of the way." Kankuro grits his teeth, taking in Gaara's hand hanging limply at his side, slams a fist down to the ground. Earth release. Fissure. Cracks ripple across the forest floor as grass, vines, and dirt get uprooted, fall into yawning abysses of black. "No matter what, Gaara's still my brother. I'm not letting you or any other Konoha shinobi harm him." Kankuro growls out as he helps him onto his back. Gaara studies him in surprise, accepts his help this time. "Thank you, Kankuro. I'm sorry about all this." Kankuro gapes before collecting himself. "Yeah, sure. Hey, what are big brothers for?" Hinata watches as they go back to Baki waiting on the outskirts of the woods with Temari in hold, features grim. Baki shakes his head at her and Naruto. His face is coated in mud and sand, dark eyes glassy. "I know it means little since both our villages have lost important figures and shinobi today, but we apologize for this trouble we caused." He drops into a bow, apologies turning to static in her ears. Hinata frowns, stomach plummeting. Important figures. Like who? Her mind flashes to Jiraiya or perhaps Kakashi-sensei, turns to Naruto helping him to stand once the sand trio is fully gone. We should find Sasuke and then head to your apartment. She suggests, licks her lips of dust and blood. And hopefully along the way find out who are said important figures Baki is referring to. Naruto sighs, jaw rigid studying broken earth more than her keeping them in place. Quote. I know you didn't kill him and I'm glad you didn't. However, how far were you going to take those injuries to Gaara if Kankuro hadn't come? Hinata smiles, fingers brushing at his head where his wound is already healing. Far enough that he could never hurt you again, my love. I'd do that to anybody, friend or enemy that harmed you or tried to. Blue meets white fully then, abruptly grabs her wounded hand in his despite her wince. We discuss who we will or won't kill as a team, okay? Hinata bumps their heads affectionately. Sure. Naruto smiles crookedly, relaxes his hold. I don't believe you. Hinata gently tugs for them to get moving. Her throat burns at charred earth surrounding them in every direction, gray smog curling about the remaining trees and bushes. If it's this bad here, how are things in the village? No. She must focus on the here and now. I know it bothers you, but you must understand that Gaara won't be the last person who targets you. Not everyone will be so easy to sway. Hinata mentions casually. Naruto chuckles. You said what was the word? Charismatic. I can talk anyone down anyone after a good beating, you know. Hinata giggles. I didn't mean when it came to life and death situations. A voice clears their throat above them. Sasuke. Save your flirting for later and help me down from here. He grunts out, Naruto and Hinata respectively moving to his left and right sides. Hinata reddens at Sasuke's pointed look, probably assumed she'd leave him in the trees once Naruto arrived. I wasn't going to abandon you. She huffs out indignantly, relieved most of the sand surrounding him has already slogged off. Sasuke turns his gaze skyward, chest clenching. Weak. I was too weak to be of any real help. He shuts his eyes and for a flicker of a moment sees golden eyes watching him, heartbeat drumming faster and his ears shaking away the image. Together, they move back for the village, blare of the all-clear alarm finally cutting off. Though with its end, a new noise quickly settles in. Bouts of coughs, sniffles, and tears. One of the butchers, Yanagi, sweeps with tears at the ends of his eyes. His wife, Chihiro, coughs into a handkerchief before dabbing at her eyes too. Hinata's brows furrow watching them, has heard from many gossip mongers that the couple haven't cried in public since the day they found out their eldest child died in the last Shinobi World War. Sasuke tenses as they pass them, hears the tail end of their conversation. It can't be true, right? For him to fall to his former student of all people. In another life, I heard Orochimaru was the one he would pick to be his successor. Chihiro asks. His body was confirmed found by the Anbu and the Toad Sanin. Kenji down in the business district saw him being carried out amid debris near the arena. Oh, what are we going to do without Lord Third? Yanagi's grip tightens on his broom. Sasuke glances to Naruto quickly to move them away from hearing anything else, sees it's too late from the way Naruto blinks hard, shaky grin etching up. His knuckles whiten, burying his free hand into his jacket. Oi, did you guys hear that too? Maybe those geezers need new hearing aids. No way old man Third is dead, right? Hinata Hyuga compound, branch quarters. You don't need to keep coming over here like this, Lady Hinata. Hisoka scoffs under his breath as he sees Hinata poke her head into the main room. The mood is already somber enough with gray clouds blanketing the skies, scent of rain building from the mountains to the north soon to roll into Konoha by the time the funeral procession will start. Hiruzen Sarutobi will be laid to rest beside his wife Bawako and his fellow clansmen who departed before him from the Sarutobi family. Hinata bows in greeting to Hisoka, settles beside him and his sister Hazuki anyways who scoots back from her an inch. Her nose wrinkles, lips curling as her stare roams over the bandages to her hand that aren't exactly pretty, violet-colored bruises poking out from under the wrappings. But it's healing nicely according to Dr. Hiwasaki, only throbs if she overdoes it. You must give your hands time to heal, Lady Hinata. No unnecessary training, gardening, or sewing. He orders while doing a gentle bend and flex of her fingers. He gestures towards calluses that dot her fingers and palms. Be patient with yourself, Hinata. There's no time to be patient with all that's happened in the village. He wouldn't give such advice to Iroha or Hoito. Hazuki's brows furrow, polite smile trembling fighting to keep it in place. But her eyes betray her, opalescent turning to steel. Shouldn't you be getting ready in the main family quarters, Lady Hinata? Hinata nods, waves up her good hand. I just wanted to check in first if any of you needed anything. I mended Madame Harumi's pillowcase over the weekend since I noticed her having some neck problems and bags beneath her eyes during breakfast. Dozens of eyes fall upon Harumi, cheeks burning red. Hinata smiles in her direction. Are you feeling better since the hole was patched up? I'm sorry it took me a bit longer with my injured hand. Why yes. Thank you, Lady Hinata. Harumi says nothing else, shuffles back for her room before the weight of the glares makes her break. Hazuki snorts as she goes. This isn't to curry favor with Master Hiyashi, going by him never mentioning these weekly drop-ins during morning announcements. He must know and doesn't care that Hinata is coming here of her own volition. She sets down her tea. Sewing up our hand-me-downs from the main family, don't forget, and giving us a few snacks or teas here and there won't improve relations in our clan. You're wasting your time and ours. A few months ago, you couldn't even look Master Hiyashi in the eye, and now you're hovering around here bothering us too like a fly. Hisoka nods his agreement, leans forward. You're still weaker than Neji when it comes to the gentle fist and rotation. If only Hisashi had been born first, then what? Hanabi and I would be the branded ones. You wouldn't be any richer or stronger in such a scenario, I'm sorry to say. Tell me, Hisoka, haven't you enjoyed the comforts I've brought you? You were one of the first to partake in the sencha teas and wildflower honey I brought back for you all from the land of rice paddies. Hinata interrupts gently. Hisoka coughs, settles back on his tatami mat. Hinata pats at his hand before he can fully move it away. It's okay, really. I know trust won't come overnight. Please believe me though that I want to unite our clan into one. In order to do that, I will continue my weekly check-ins to see if you all need anything and listen to issues that you don't think father or the elders are taking care of. It won't happen overnight, but I do care. For example, I know that tea and honey helped with your sore throat and with Hyo's fever. At his son's name, Hisoka bristles, jolts to a standing position. He raises a hand to her before remembering himself. Who she is, who he is. Hinata draws in a breath, waits for the slap. Hisoka drops his hand like it's glued to his side. Don't pretend you know anything of the branch family's suffering. Hisoka twists on his heel, Hazuki getting up after him. Today has been another failure, everyone else hurriedly avoiding her eyes. Next week, Hinata gets to a standing position. Maybe she'll need to ask for Neji's help in this after all, despite him thinking it futile too, stomach loosening the further she gets away. Rain patters down heavily as she takes the long route back to her room, watches as the garden swells with puddles along the chrysanthemums and tulips. Carnations will be passed out at the funeral, pursing her lips. The last real conversation I had with Lord Third was to request the team switch. I hope I didn't stress him out as badly as his former students did. Especially his favorite, the one who killed him. Nobody spoke as if Orochimaru is dead too. Coils form in her throat. Snakes shed their skin when injured or need to move locations, and back in the Forest of Death, Naruto said his focus was on Sasuke alone. Hinata stops in place. Sasuke is going to be targeted again. Hands curl at her leg, nearly making Hinata jump, readies her hand to strike only for Hanabi to burrow her cheek to her leg. Big sis, I need your help zipping up my dress. And with my hair too. Hinata blinks, giggles at her tousled auburn locks, mud coating her sandals. And what happened to Lady Natsu? It looks like you've been running around. Hanabi pouts out her cheeks. Not running, just looking for you. Okay, and maybe hiding from Lady Natsu and the other attendants. Hinata hugs her to her side. Let's go to my room then. You know Lady Hirika and a few if the other elders think my room is cursed, so she won't step foot in there after you. Hanabi beams, grips her by her good hand to lead the way. Naruto, Hinata, and Sasuke Konoha symmetry. I don't need or want extra security. Sasuke mentions flatly. Hinata's eyes cloud, dropping the conversation. Oh, that's fine too. I guess your funeral will be the next one Naruto and I attend. She murmurs, voice tight. Her gaze flicks towards them joining the line of mourners to give their final goodbyes. Naruto scratches at his gauze, tampers himself not to be too loud. It's not fine. Orochimaru placed that curse mark on you to mess with your thoughts, idiot. Kakashi-sensei or pervy sage can better seal it. Sasuke shushes him with a glare, nods to the line. Shut up, moron. Let's join the line already before we get any odd looks. Naruto reluctantly moves for the procession, mutters just loud enough for Sasuke to hear him still. Fine bastard, though this conversation isn't over. It is, stop worrying about me. Sasuke lets him lead. Things would be easier if he just dropped the subject like Hinata did. Though from the way her fingers twirl at her carnation stem, she isn't exactly ready to let things just be either. He inhales slowly, breath catching, halfway turning shallow as they reach towards the front, a framed photo of Hiruzen surrounded by white and yellow carnations and lilies. His eyes focus in on Hiruzen's smile, sweat prickling the back of his neck. He squeezes his eyes shut, memories clawing up, unbidden. I promise you, Sasuke, that as long as I'm alive, you won't have to worry about your brother or anyone else returning to kill you. Hiruzen moves to pat at his head. Sasuke jolts his head away, nearly slamming it against the wall, skitters back from his touch. Why does he smell so much like blood? Like the same oak and pine scents father likes to use. No. Liked. Father won't ever use such colognes again to make mother smile, will never smell of fire or the woods anymore. Where have they taken everyone's bodies? Has the compound been cleaned and ransacked from top to bottom? Is Itachi still in the village? He scoots back to the corner of the bed, burrows the questions away. It smells too much like disinfectant and medicine in here, rubbing at his arms. I've been here at least a week now, right? Surely that's enough time to assess that I'm okay. I don't have any injuries on me. Sasuke decides, speaking up. Can I please go home now? I don't like it here. Hiruzen glances to two men in white coats that situate themselves behind him. Drive. Fujiwara and Dr. Tajimoto. The two reasons why he can't leave. Both men run a daily series of labs on him, interview him on how he's feeling every morning, and give him medicines that make him sleepy whenever recollections of the night rise back to the forefront of his mind. Hiruzen mumbles for him to give them a moment. They step out into the hallway, Sasuke waiting a minute before quietly moving to the edge of the bed, door cracked open just slightly. Itachi is gone. He decided to for the village. I'll keep my promise to him. What promise? Sasuke bites his tongue before he can yell out, strains to hear more. Doctor. Tajimoto rubs at his chin. Is it safe for Sasuke to be alone right now? Doctor. Fujiwara and I are in agreement that he's suffering from PTSD, paranoia, and anxiety. It's begun to affect his appearance and appetite. Sasuke looks over himself at that, studies stains of varying ages on his top and pants, a hole growing at the end of his shirt. Ah, I should ask Mom to fix this. Bile swishes up as soon as it clicks, rubs at his eyes, reburying the image of her fallen body. Hiruzen gestures to someone out of his view. I'll assign an Anbu to him for the next month or so. That should give Sasuke enough time to adjust to this new life. I'll assure he learns how to cook, bathe, and properly clean up after himself during said period. Sasuke swallows, slides back against the wall. None of that matters now. This promise he made has died with him. A hand gently nudges at his back, Sasuke straightening. Kakashi leads him to keep moving. He gulps in frigid air, wipes away raindrops from his face. Come on, Sasuke, we must keep the line going. Naruto and Hinata are already waiting for you at the entrance. Naruto says ramen is on him to honor Lord Third. I would take this opportunity knowing how rare it is for Naruto to pay. Sasuke forces a small grin. Does that idiot even have enough Ryo on him? Kakashi shrugs. I'm coming along too, so I'll cover any potential leftovers. He pats at his shoulder once more as he adds his carnation to the pile. From the corner of Sasuke's eye, a white snake pokes its head out from the flowers and his breath hitches, quickly looking away. A dull ache pangs at the back of his head, the same sharp hiss from his dreams. You're still too weak, Sasuke. Jiraiya Hokage Tower, Hokage's office. No thanks. Can't do it. Jiraiya forces his grin to stay in place. Homura and Kaharu think by blocking the main exit out of the office that he's stuck here. That just means he'll just jump out the window instead. Kaharu steps forward, brows set in that way that reminds him of the times she'd scold him for trying to peek at women in the bathhouses. Come now, Jiraiya, you hardly even gave it a thought. With Hiruzen's death, we will need a new Hokage to step up, and you're more than qualified to be our village's 5th Hokage. Sensei has barely been in the ground a full day and now this. Jiraiya chuckles. Well, if I declared a new policy that my make-out paradise novels are required reading for everyone over 16, that would be okay. Or that I would like my own personal entertainment daily from the red light district's most popular ladies. Kaharu flusters, gapes at him up and down before her cheeks stain red, fists winding into a ball until they too are crimson. This is serious. Why are you always like this? Homura places a hand to her shoulder before she can toss something at Jiraiya's head. What do you suggest we do otherwise? Jiraiya's gestures towards the northwest forests. You're forgetting my other old teammate, Tsunade. If I find her, I'm sure I can convince her to take up the hat instead. She was a student of Sarutobi sensei too, don't forget. Homura's skin turns a shade paler, averting his eyes. Kaharu purses her lips, wrinkles her nose, dropping her gaze to the ground. Tsunade hasn't been seen in years. And last I heard, she's a gambling drunkard. She sneers. Jiraiya crosses his arms, rolls his neck, feeling an insult bubble up. Look, I'm a spy, not a leader. Give me a chance to at least convince her. I'll even bring the kid along so he's protected while the village is weak. Homura straightens at that. What? We'll need our weapon more than ever now. Jiraiya holds up a hand. Naruto needs to get stronger, and sitting here cooped up in the village isn't going to help. Kaharu blows out a breath, Homura rubbing at his head. Fine. It doesn't seem like we're going to be able to convince you on this anyways. Do you at least have an idea of where to go to find her? Jiraiya nods, raises up 2 fingers. Yes, Tanzaku Quarters is having a week-long festival celebrating life, rebirth, and the honoring of ancestors. Or she'll be at the nearby Volcanic Springs village, Kazunonsen. It's popular at this time of year for its glowing red mineral pools, nighttime moon viewing, and lantern festivals. Kazunonsen is where I'll start first, as gamblers tend to take advantage of the supposed fortunes brought on by the color change phenomenon to the springs, plus all the deals the hotels and casinos offer. Then, I'll hop over to Tanzaku if I don't find her there. Homura waves him away, smiles thinly. Good luck then, I suppose. It doesn't surprise him that Hinata is curled amid Naruto's blankets at his apartment, Jiraiya rubbing his chin. Anything you want to talk to Naruto about, I can hear too. Hinata beams, nods to his untouched tea. Well, let's get this over with. Jiraiya sighs. He peers to Naruto dozing beside her, snaps his fingers. Kid, no time to sleep, we gonna do some extra training. Pack your bags as we head out for Kazunonsen village tomorrow morning. Konoha needs a new Hokage, and I don't want it to be me. Hinata perks up at Tsunade's name, brightens as a grin splits across Naruto's face, matching her own. Our first hot springs trip. Granted, it would be better without Jiraiya, but we'll do plenty more in the future. Hinata bounces up from his sofa in delight. Ah, if we're going on the road, I'll pack travel ramen and get the essentials bag. Naruto notes. Toiletries too, and clothes for when we're not training. Hinata adds. Jiraiya clears his throat loudly. Woman, or Hinata in particular, is a vice Naruto is going to need to learn to manage. Hinata can't come. The pair freeze, though it is Naruto who speaks up first. Why not? With Hinata's Byakugan, it would make finding this Tsunade lady go by faster. Jiraiya sighs at the growl to his tone, considers the point quietly. Hinata pouts. I'm not going to cause trouble, I promise. Jiraiya scoffs. Promises mean nothing to me. Especially ones coming from you. Hinata squeezes at Naruto's hand, leans her head against his shoulder. She'll follow them even if he says no. Having a toad keep watch on her in the village would be a waste of resources. Jiraiya throws up his hands. You both must follow my orders the whole time. Got it. Naruto nods vigorously while Hinata hums her agreement. She bows just as Jiraiya turns to go. You won't regret this. Jiraiya snorts under his breath. I'm already starting to. Tsunade, Naruto, and Hinata Kazunonsen village. The pathways are lit in scarlets and gold, lanterns of various sizes hanging from each stall. A clear full moon has drawn out people of all ages to take in the fire breathers and a parade of dancers wearing silks various shades of blue. Hinata draws in a breath, faint scent of petals and lavender wafting in from the mineral pools higher up in the village. Naruto nearly skirts for the first takoyaki and grilled river fish stands he sees, Jiraiya grabbing him by the collar of his shirt. Whoa now kid, don't forget why we're here. You can have your fun yes, but we need to keep an eye out for Tsunade. Naruto pulls out his toad wallet excitedly. I know, but we can't do that on an empty stomach you know. Jiraiya blinks at how much Ryo Naruto has saved up, Hinata smacking his hand as soon as he reaches a hand forward. No, I saw you eyeing those ladies promoting honey wine and sake. Use your own Ryo and don't be a cheapskate. She hisses. Jiraiya huffs. Geez, so touchy. I was just gonna hold on to it for safekeeping. Hinata's stare sharpens. If we find you overheated and hungover in a spring, it will be your own fault. She takes Naruto by the hand before Jiraiya can answer, grins as he points to a balloon popping game. Well, guess it's not often those two can just have fun. Tomorrow, we'll start the real training. Jiraiya decides as he lets them go. His gaze wanders back to the sake stand, the wink of the brunette holding up the banner. Now to try some free samples. Try this one next Naruto. Hinata giggles, feeds him a spicy curry takoyaki next. Just as he takes a bite does a blonde woman pass by. Hair in two ponytails just like the latest photo Jiraiya showed them of Tsunade. No, it wouldn't be that easy, right? Naruto notes her staring. What is it? He asks between chews. Hinata squirms, investigating without Jiraiya would break his first rule. She searches the crowds for him, only sees a sea of dragon, fox, and tiger masks. Tsunade. That lady that passed just now looked like her. Hinata whispers. Naruto squints as the woman disappears into the throngs of people. Maybe. Wanna check? We can just keep our distance. Hinata nods, pays for 2 orange and red fox masks before they give follow. Why am I started to win big? Tsunade frowns, looks around. A shudder races down her back, stepping away from the slots with her earnings. She needs a soak, then her bed. Shizune yawns, head lolling against the pachinko screen beside her. I'm calling an early night Shizune. I'm going to hit the restrooms and then we can return back the hotel. Shizune gives a thumbs up, yawns by way of answer. She leaves her there with Taunton to guard her, eyes narrowing on just outside the slots. Those 2 kids in fox masks. It's not a transformation jutsu as far as she can tell, but there's no reason for anyone in this village to be so interested in her. Unless they were sent or came with someone from Konoha. Damn it, no wonder my luck is changing. Tsunade wipes at her lips. She weaves herself behind the duo, turns and pushes them against the wall into the shadows outside the streetlights before they can move. Their masks slide and crumple at their feet, Tsunade humming. A Hyuga girl and Konoha's Jinchuriki. Shit, this is even stranger than I initially thought. Tsunade fans out a breath layered in sake and sweets Hinata tries to turns her head from. Tsunade clicks her tongue, sharply pushes a finger under her and Naruto's chins forcing their gaze, amber eyes piercing. No turning away girl. Why are you 2 brats following me? Naruto, Hinata, and Tsunade Kazunansen alleyways. Hinata doesn't hide the wrinkle of her nose when Tsunade blows her breath in their faces again, scent of various sakes and wines invading her senses. Tsunade smirks at her open scowl, eyes them both with a flat, unimpressed stare. What is a Hyuga girl and Konoha's Jinchuriki doing here in Kazunansen of all places? Naruto straightens, gets right to the point. Pervy sage wants you to be the 5th Hokage. Amber eyes narrow, leaning back from them. And what happened to Lord Third? Hinata pauses, brows rising. He died during an invasion attempt on Konoha. The news didn't reach these parts. Tsunade says nothing, chest coiling. Perhaps a fellow gambler or Shizune mentioned it in passing, though she probably had tuned it out amid the near-constant chatter, clink of machines, and roll of dice. She waves up a hand breezily. Well, I'm afraid you all wasted your time coming here. I have no intentions of coming back to the village. Naruto and Hinata glance to each other in unison. Now what? Jiraiya will be of little help tonight going by the ladies they saw him saunter off with, and by morning, Tsunade could easily make an escape. Orochimaru won't waste a chance to catch her alone, offer her things she and Naruto can never give her. Hinata clears her throat. Have you had a chance to enjoy Kazunansen's thermal baths? I've read about them in magazines that the water changes from turquoise to ruby colored during this time of year. Tsunade shrugs. Yes. Why? Hinata nods. I wasn't sure if they would be too much for you to handle. I know despite how you currently look, you and Jiraiya are actually the same age. It isn't good for the elderly to stay in heat for too long. Naruto sends her a panicked look as Tsunade's features harden. She presses a finger to her head, enough for Hinata to wince at the pressure. Insulting me isn't going to get me to come along. Since when do those from the Hyuga clan talk like this? Have I truly been away from the village that long? Hinata smiles, rivulet of blood trickling down as her nail breaks her skin. I'm not insulting you if it's true, Lady Tsunade. I can't drink sake with you, but I can play Hanafuda, Oichokabu, or even Chohan. We could play in one of the hot springs until one of us overheats. Tsunade settles back from the pair, crosses her arms. And what do you know about those underground gambling games? Hinata raises up her hands as petals dance overhead, carried in by the breeze. Enough. It's the perfect time of year to play Hanafuda as the season changes from summer into fall. We'll have to play on the rocks to keep the cards from getting wet, but we could make it work. Kazunonsen is known for its luck-based games, adding the heat would be a fun element. Tsunade considers for a moment before shaking her head. I'm not dealing with your corpse if you die of heat stroke. Usually, only the Yakuza and drug kingpins dabble in such games. The opposite of what the Hyuga are known to be. At least in public. I know she's just trying to goad me, though it's odd she understands the rules of said game. Maybe Jiraiya taught her. Tsunade guesses. Hinata's grin doesn't falter, wipes away the blood leaving a smear of red against jacket and forehead. Alright, I'm glad you care enough to not let me die. Perhaps Oichokabu instead then. She claps her hands before Tsunade can call her bluff at even fully understanding the concept of said game. But I think even Naruto and I can beat you at one of these festival games. The prize for goldfish scooping out every pair in under 5 minutes is 10,000 ryo. So far, there's been no winners tonight. Tsunade does the math, she could at least pay off a month's worth of debts. She studies Hinata akin to a fly, gaze switching to Naruto. He stares right back, hands at his side wound at ready. Oh, he was going to attack if I harmed this girl here any further. Tsunade realizes. She hadn't picked up on any real waves of anger from him, though she sees it now studying him closer. A darkness that's settled across the blue of his eyes. Tsunade chuckles. You gonna make me an offer I can't refuse, boy. Naruto crosses his arms. I have Ryo, but I'm not gonna gamble any until we settle on a challenge, you know. Tsunade stretches. Interesting. Shizune moves to walk in their direction, Tsunade holding up a hand. Well, if you really insist, I'll test you both. I won't be dragged back to the village by fools. Naruto blinks before putting up his fists. Pervy Sage did say Tsunade is one of the strongest people he knows. Though he didn't say she was this strong. Tsunade smirks. Not like that. She flicks Naruto's forehead hard enough to knock him back a few feet. Hinata instantly bristles though doesn't move to attack the slug Sanin. Neither of you can challenge me when it comes to brute strength. And I will decide what festival games we play. She'll break their spirits with goldfish scooping. Send them running back to Jiraiya and out of her hair. She cracks her knuckles, nods to Naruto. You're up first, boy. How about I wager my winnings from tonight and all the Ryo you got in that toad wallet? Naruto frowns, Hinata whispering something to him before nodding. Fine. Tsunade rolls up her sleeves as they head for the closest stall, the attendant counting down from 10. This will be easy, Ryo. How hard can this be? And, go. Her first net breaks as soon as it hits the water, followed by her second, third, and fourth nets. Dexterity does get worse with age. Hinata muses behind her, making Tsunade snap her fifth net. Her gaze twists to Naruto's splashed, but concentrated form catching every remaining fish on his side. Well, shit. Cerulean tinges with red when he peers back to her, now soaked completely, ignores his prize Ryo and bagged fish. Are you going to hold up your end of the deal? Tsunade hums at that, settles back into a standing position. Nope. Get some rest as tomorrow, I'll give you both a real challenge where we'll up the bets. Tsunade and Shizune, Naruto, Hinata, and Jiraiya Kazunonsen village. My lady, we can just leave now before daybreak. There's no reason to engage in such silly games. Shizune mentions as pinks and yellows begin to dust the horizon. She rubs at her head peeking through the curtains, the festivities for day 2 about to be set up in the center square. They were so noisy last night until past 2 a.m. How is it that they have the energy to already be ready to party again? Tsunade shakes her head and Shizune notes a sticky residue of silver to her fingers. Her eyes meet hers, sighs. Too late for such plans. Though he wasn't there, Jiraiya now has a way to track me. He used that Hyuga girl and kid. When I struck at their heads, it must have activated some seal or transferred this single-toed egg beneath my nail that turned into this string by morning. Maybe that's why neither were too bothered by the injuries I gave them. Tsunade grits her teeth. Jiraiya figured she would lose her temper and patience, now tied to a clear thread that wherever she goes next, he will know. Shizune cuts and rips at the gelatinous ribbon only for it to form again. Tsunade shoos away her attempts. This is a technique from Mount Myoboku. It's a way to track tadpoles and eggs from drifting too far from their parents or the mountain supposedly. Tiny enough for eyes to always be on them for protection. And now on her too. She wraps it around her arm like a bandage accepting the new accessory, arches a brow at Shizune's pursed lips. Don't look so worried. Geez, I know how to win a bet against Jiraiya and some children. We can do a drinking contest, or I can subject him to some team-based challenge with those brats. Shizune shakes her head. If it's come to this, I think we should hear them out, my lady. Tsunade fiddles with the ribbon, considers the time. 6:22 a.m. Well, it's never too early for me to get a drink in. Shizune pouts, tauntant seeming to match her scolding look. Please get some proper food and drink in your system for breakfast. I'll be watching from the shadows just in case. Tsunade breezily waves up a hand. She'll wash her face and head out to meet her old teammate. I'll be fine. Along the way, she'll figure out some idea on how to get rid of them. She's heading our way now. Jiraiya muses between bites of rice. He waves at passing vendors he met last night, Kazunansen preparing for today's taiko drum performances and lantern release for later in the week. But the most important thing going on will be Kazunansen's unique star weaving event. This far from any major city and light pollution, the people here weave silver threads annually, each to represent a fear they're releasing, a dream they're welcoming, or a connection they want to strengthen. Something that could maybe help Tsunade move forward. I just have to convince her to take part. Jiraiya considers. Which means full days of training ahead to prove his seriousness. Hinata rubs at where her scratch mark is, half smiles. Good, so the seal did activate. I almost thought maybe you did that just to mess with us. Jiraiya grins. Who says I didn't? Hinata sighs. Takes to stabbing at her tamagoyaki, picturing it's Jiraiya's face instead. Surely I'll find out some intel I can use against him once Tsunade arrives. Naruto yawns beside her, tries and fails to stop his head from lolling straight into the table. We're gonna get some actual training in today, right? He said he would learn a super powerful wind technique in Hinata a Fire 1. However, he never explained how. Jiraiya nods, gestures to a bucket of water balloons he collected from a stall before closing yesterday. Yup, those balloons right there are going to be part of your training, kid. Next to them are a set of shuriken and kunai. Target practice. Hinata guesses for herself, Jiraiya shaking his head. Similar. You'll both see. Finish eating, I don't want you guys hungry with what Tsunade may add on. Add on. Naruto and Hinata peer to each other. Before Jiraiya can explain himself, his gaze abruptly switches to something rushing towards them, elongates his hair, grabbing the pair up into the air. Crack. The earth rumbles beneath them, splits the ground into a river of dark fissures. Tsunade appears out of the dust, shakes away dirt from her index finger. Ah, so these kids really are with you, huh, Jiraiya? Jiraiya chuckles as he sets them back down. Morning, Tsunade, I bought plenty of breakfast. Take a seat. She holds up the toad egg bind wrapped around her wrist in response. Get this thing off of me. Jiraiya's grin widens, TSKS. No can do. You're not easy to catch and it's not my fault you decided to flick at Naruto and Hinata's foreheads to activate the seal. Tsunade crosses her arms silently, notes his features soften. Jiraiya moves away from the upturned bench to the grass, nods to the spot opposite him. Tsunade reluctantly sits, tampers her anger. So, is it true Sensei is dead? Jiraiya nods, picks at blades, letting the wind carry them. Orochimaru joined Suna in a joint attack and Sarutobi Sensei died while defending the village. Suna lost their cage too. Goosebumps prickle at her skin, chest sinking at this new development. Tsunade, you could still be a great help in building future medical corps for field training or even teaching the basics of first aid and CPR at the academy. Hiruzen suggests. No, I'm tired, sensei. I can't be here any longer. She sees his hand coming for her shoulder from the corner of her eye, moves away from his reach. By nightfall, she's already near the Land of Fire's border. Their last conversation was negative, tainted by loss. And now he's been added to a growing list of friends, comrades, and loved ones who have died. Tsunade pulls a flask from her haori, eyes turning stormy. So, now that sensei has kicked the bucket, you want me to take up the hat? Hey, becoming the Hokage is a waste of time. Sarutobi sensei couldn't even stop his favorite student from murdering him. The air heats, Naruto drawing in a breath. At least old man Third didn't run away from the danger in his final moments. Or drink himself daily into a stupor. Tsunade rolls her neck, getting back to a standing position, stomps a foot down to the ground charged with lightning. She shoves Hinata away from blocking it, grabs Naruto by the collar of his jacket. Don't hurt him, Hinata shouts. Jiraiya jolts up in warning. Tsunade. Drop him. Tsunade's gaze stays locked on Naruto, how his features turn malicious too. Yeah, boy, you knew nothing about our sensei or what he got up to when he wasn't busy doing his Hokage duties. Naruto scoffs. I knew enough. And when I become Hokage, I'll make sure to avoid the mistakes he made. Tsunade smirks, amber eyes clearing. You can't even endure a single flick of my finger to your head, let alone become leader of Konoha. I'm going to teach him the Rasengan and Hinata fire-related jutsu to blend into the Hyuga's traditional styles of attack. Jiraiya jumps in. She drops Naruto unceremoniously, flicker of alarm in her expression before she masks it once more. It doesn't matter how Jiraiya wants to torture these kids. Jiraiya holds up one finger. Give Naruto and Hinata a week to master their techniques. I bet all the Ryo I received from my last Make Out Paradise novel that they can do it. Tsunade holds up her necklace, blue shimmering in the sunlight. Alright, then I bet this necklace from the first Hokage. Yikes, she's that confident. Well, I couldn't do a drinking or arm wrestling contest. Jiraiya muses. Tsunade hums, waves Hinata over. Kazunansen uses an assortment of fire dancers and swordsmen during this 2-week celebration. By the end of this week 1, you need to be able to hold your own in a full performance of skill and balance, either with Phoenix Palm Waltz or Dance of the Radiant Lion. Both are taijutsu-based attacks, though in this case are being used artistically. Hinata purses her lips too late to cover and Tsunade smirks. Don't be foolish if you're having second thoughts. Those techniques can take months to perfect. Said techniques are ones she's seen only the lead entertainers do. Swift footwork amid the swirl of steel and hands to avoid burning themselves, co-workers, and those in the audience. The ultimate display of mixing attack with performance. You just need to master one. Hinata reminds herself. But for a moment, she hears her father's voice mixing with Tsunade's. The crackle of summer heat, shame flushing her skin. Don't embarrass me, Hinata, in front of the elders. I won't. Pearl eyes sharpen. Then straighten your back up already, it's rude to slouch in front of grandfather and the others. Stop stuttering too and act like a proper heiress worthy of leading the Hyuga clan one day. Naruto clasps gently at her hand and her heartbeat calms to a hush. No, I will do it too. She promises. Jiraiya and Tsunade shake on it, Hinata's gaze lingering on said necklace. Naruto, Hinata, and Jiraiya Kazunansen East Mountains. Don't overdo it, kid. Jiraiya calls out, holds up a lantern into the dark. His greeting falls on deaf ears, probably talking to one of Naruto's clones versus the original. Sure enough, he points to his left, breath coming in pants. We almost got it down. And then it pops. Jiraiya follows up the trail to see the original slumped over in the grass, ground and surrounding trees covered in swirls. He crouches to his level. You gotta take it a little easier on yourself, Naruto. We're just at the end of day 3 after all. Naruto shakes his head faintly. If we're gonna win the bet, then I need to use as many clones as possible practicing. Jiraiya holds out a skewer of chicken and beef. Not on an empty stomach. Only Naruto could handle training in such a way. Jiraiya absently notes having counted somewhere between 10 to 15 clones as he perks up accepting the meal. Moonlight casts long shadows of silver along the remnants of the trees, brows furrowing. Where's Hinata gone off to? Naruto nods deeper into the forests. She didn't want to accidentally burn me while training. Jiraiya sighs, orders him to wait there following the smell of smoke. Hinata's back is to him when he approaches, holds up a hand. Wait, just 5 more minutes. She warbles out. Sapphire flames ignite the tips of her fingers, drawing in a breath before moving forward for the largest tree straight ahead. She weaves around the smaller bushes and branches, Jiraiya seeing the beginnings of the smaller blazes swishing about her, moving faster resembling falling petals. Like a waltz. A breeze blows in from the north and the fires sputter just slightly, Hinata gritting her teeth to keep the flames going, keep pace with her speed. Don't let me down, Hinata. You cannot fail. Father's voice thunders in her ears. Her vision blurs. Jiraiya catches her, nausea gripping her stomach in a vice. Geez, I know you're tired when you're actually letting me help you. He teases, wiping at her drenched face. Hinata pulls the towel out of his grip in response, grudgingly accepts the canteen he forces into her hands. She peeks up at him after a moment, clears her throat. What exactly is you and Tsunade's history? Jiraiya hums. Why do you need to know? So you can use it against me at a later date. Pearl eyes cloud. Yes, probably. Jiraiya's laugh bounces against the trees, slapping at her back. Hinata scoots away, scowls. Yeah, that shouldn't surprise me. You know already my true feelings for her, but. Hinata leans back in. Jiraiya shrugs, smile dropping as his eyes wander upward. Tsunade is stuck in the past. I can't say I fully blame her. She lost her lover Dan and then not too long afterwards, her brother Naoki. It's given her a fear of blood, a fear of losing more people believing she's cursed. Hinata softens, toes curling at the idea of losing Hanabi. Do you think the star-weaving event could help in a way? I don't know if Lady Tsunade believes in such traditions, though it could help. Jiraiya nods. It's worth a shot in my opinion. Though she would never admit it, I think you and especially Naruto have sparked a bit of hope in her. Orochimaru and Kabuto Kazunansen springs. Do we need to engage? Kabuto quietly asks. He hates that he covers a ripple of pain with a shrug, has refused every herb and tonic these vendors have to offer. Even his own medicine has started to be less effective. Orochimaru shakes his head. Not yet. When Tsunade visits the springs alone tonight, I will offer her my deal. Right now, there's too many people surrounding her, certain eyes on that nine-tails boy that he needs to avoid crossing in his current state. Eventually, all this attention will become suffocating for her. Kabuto rubs at his head. Perhaps then a quick soak in the springs will help your arms. I can give you a higher dose of morphine as well. His stare finally moves to him, features impassive. The only thing or person that cured this wretched injury the old man gave me is Tsunade. But he does as he wants, letting him lead the way to one of the many crimson pools, picks one out of sight. Necrotic skin peels off even as Kabuto slowly unwraps the bandages, gasp escaping a man behind. Kabuto instantly grabs a scalpel into his hands, man stumbling back. Oh, I didn't know there were still some stragglers here. I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm sorry for your injury, sir, but Kazunansen has strict rules on no open wounds being in the springs. Hey, infection prevention and all. Orochimaru's gaze flickers to his name badge, Genta Ito, his uniform. An officer. His eyes turn to slits, yellow turning murky. Genta steps back and Orochimaru elongates his neck, teeth digging into his neck. A scream dies in his throat as he rips at flesh until he hits bone. Orochimaru listening as his heartbeat slows in his ears, skin becoming a chalky white. The taste of copper invades his senses and still his viscousness makes him bite down harder to keep him in place. All these strangers with perfectly healthy bodies, bemoaning simple ailments while he must suffer with these useless arms. He lets go only when Genta's eyes turn fully glassy. Kabuto wrinkles his nose at his slumped form, kicks it aside into the nearest spring. I hope he wasn't anybody important to these ongoing events. Orochimaru drags his arms out from the pool, Kabuto helping dry and rebandage them. His stare lingers on the corpse for only a minute before his attention turns back to lunch. Perhaps, but the festivities must go on, right? Jiraiya and Tsunade Niwa Palace Hotel. Tsunade swirls at her glass, holds it up to the light letting the ice sparkle. How much did it cost him to pay for 3 rooms for a whole extra week? Still enjoy the finer things I see. Tsunade half smiles. But inside her stomach clenches. It's been years since they've seen each other and yet Jiraiya can still give her that molten stare of his. One she's always avoided since being members of the same team. Jiraiya shrugs. It's not every day I run into an old friend. Amber steals at that, snorts softly pointing to Naruto and Hinata slumped forms on both sides of him. Care to explain why you're traveling with these two? Are they your latest students? Jiraiya rubs at his chin, gestures with his head more to Naruto. Hinata invited herself. Tsunade's brows furrow. Why? She caused you so much trouble that you just gave in. Jiraiya's smile vanishes. Yes. Tsunade stifles a laugh into her sleeve, Jiraiya huffing. You'll eventually see what I mean when it comes to Hinata's behavior when it involves Naruto. Tsunade rolls her eyes. That she has a crush on him or is full-on in love. Anyone can see that from how she was interacting with him earlier at all the food and game stalls. Jiraiya bites his tongue at the retort rising up, chooses not to argue. Come with us to the star-weaving tradition at the end of the festival. He says instead. She gives him a look as if he's doused her in ice. I've never taken part in one of Kazunansen's traditions and I don't intend to now unless it involves gambling or drinking. Tsunade sets down her glass hard enough to form a crack in the table, ready for Jiraiya's annoyance and upset. A bemused grin stares back at her. So you say, though I think you and Shizune will be front and center once the day comes. Taunton can participate too. Tsunade responds by standing, flicks him off when he asks if she's going to buy herself a 6th round of drinks. She marches past the bar, turns away from the colorful displays of wines and liquors imported from all over. Jiraiya's stare burns on her back, walk turning into a brisk pace. Screw whatever he and those brats think of me, I know when to cut myself off. She turns down the hallway for rooms 1005-1010, freezes in place. A smell lingers the closer she gets to her room 1006, iron, sharp, suffocating. Blood. Her shoulders lock, breath catching in her throat. Shizune. Taunton. She's heard from neither all night. Not again. Not after all these years. She forces herself to continue down the corridor, steps growing heavy. Dripping comes from beneath the door and her pulse spikes painfully, heartbeat stuttering. The air thickens, the scent of blood growing overpowering. A familiar voice slides through the darkness at the end of hall. My, you haven't changed at all since the end of the last great shinobi world war. Tsunade. He chuckles at her trembling form, lifts up a single arm coating in scarlet. For someone who can shatter mountains, you still fall apart so easily before a single drop. He muses, letting crimson drip lazily to the carpet. And Tsunade feels her knees buckle despite her will, vision fracturing at the edges. She grits her teeth, trying, failing to push old terror down. Orochimaru steps closer, drinks in her fear bending to eye level with her. His grin sharpens. Tell me Tsunade, what will you do when your greatest weakness stands right in front of you? What will you do to make it all go away? I need your expertise. In return, I promise to give you everything your heart desires. Dan. Nawaki. You want them back and I can give them to you. Her voice warbles, musters up a rasp. What did you do to Shizune? Taunton. Orochimaru sighs. Nothing. For now. I'll give you until the end of next week to decide what you want to do. His voice comes out smooth and poisonous. I look forward to seeing if the legendary slug princess can still fight even when the world around her runs red. Tsunade shoves him side, force enough to slam him back against the adjacent wall. She pushes herself to a standing position, takes 3 tries before she can get her door open. Shizune and Taunton rest curled up peacefully together on their bed, blood outside stolen from someone else. Of course. Tsunade plops down on the floor beside them, notes the half-moon outside, bile and sake burning at the back of her throat. Darkness begins to pull her under, mind circling back to earlier. Jiraiya offering Naruto and Hinata tiny sips of her drinks, Naruto's face contorting in disgust. This is awful. How do people get drunk on this? It's so bitter. Naruto spits out. Jiraiya pulls away the glass before his saliva can land near the rest of his cups. Says the boy who would eat ramen for breakfast, lunch, and dinner if your sensei and teammates didn't stop you. Ramen is healthier than alcohol, you know. A grin edges at Tsunade's lips before she frowns, shuts her eyes. I wish he didn't look and act so much like Naoki. Thank you for listening. I do hope you guys enjoy. If you guys enjoyed this what if you want a next part of this video, like, subscribe and comment down below and turn on the bell notifications, and also check out the other videos that I have created and enjoy. See you in the next video. Peace.